Hello. Welcome back by Janta Janardhan, Almighty fam. How are you all? It is obviously a Champions League midweek knockout fixture time. तो भाई कहीं ना कहीं लास्ट वीक थोड़ा बवाल मचा था, लेकिन इस बार लेट्स बी रियल, लास्ट वीक थोड़ा वार्म अप था. इस वीक आई थिंक द रियल टेस्ट इज देयर एंड ऑब्वियसली यहाँ पर दक्ष तो आए गए. वी आर हैविंग बारसा एंड इंटर फैंस कमिंग. लेकिन दक्ष, व्हाट्सअप यार, मतलब हाउ इज द जोश?
Very excited, very excited, Ankit. Bhai, मैं सो के उठा हूँ. Sorry if I am a little like fumbling थोड़ा, but yes, very excited. Arsenal भाई in the round of 16 after 7 long years भाई. इतना cursed round रहा है नहीं हमारे लिए in the recent past. You know, getting knocked out to Bayern sometimes AS Monaco, sometimes Parma. मतलब बहुत sordid history है हमारी इस round में. But आई थिंक इस टीम के साथ एक नए मैनेजर के साथ आई एम कॉन्फिडेंट दैट दिस फिक्सचर में आई थिंक वी कैन रियली गेट समथिंग एंड आई थिंक आई एम रियली एक्साइटेड यार आफ्टर अ लॉन्ग टाइम गोना विटनेस आर्सेनल इन अ यूरोपियन नॉकआउट कंपटीशन.
Absolutely. Again, big up to the chat here. Again, हम discuss करेंगे literally each and every game. First, we'll go over tomorrow's games and then closer to kickoff. Hopefully, will come by the time जब इंटर फैन भी आ जाए भाई. आज बड़ा मैच हम डिस्कस करेंगे. लेकिन कुणाल, एम्बीवर्ड गाय, शनाया, ओही सोमान, जीजीएमयू भाई, बाय द वे बोलना पड़ेगा. मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड आर रियली गेटिंग अ गुड पाथ. कहीं ना कहीं मोमेंटम आ रहा है. Ambivert guy, Anirban, or Cosmic Chad, Arda, GK, everyone in the house. Bhai, sab log, let's smash that like. Shogun Chelsea in the house as well. भाई ये इंटरेस्टिंग आज न्यूज आ रही है. लेट्स वेट फॉर Z-Bhai to discuss that as well. What is his point of view? लेकिन because I have my point of view वहां पर. लेकिन coming to the entire fixture list generally, दक्ष मतलब we'll come to the Arsenal game in particular away to Porto. लेकिन
राइट
entire round of 16 का मतलब if you have to pick one fixture जो as just a neutral, which would you love to see? Which is that fixture for you जो होने वाला है, मतलब you really predict it'll be closer than none other?
It'll have to be today's, right? Inter versus Atletico
Inter
wala.
Atletico.
It's just two teams in a nice vein of form. एटलेटिकस लीगा सीजन बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है बट इंटर भी सेरिया में स्पेशली अंडर इंजागी यार बहुत कमाल कर रही है. आजकल मैं देख रहा हूँ लाइक इंटर इज फाइनली गेटिंग द अटेंशन इट डिजर्व्स यार बिकॉज इनिशियली क्या हो रहा था कि सब बोल रहे थे ठीक है यू नो वी नो लोटारो वी नो दिस प्लेयर एंड दैट प्लेयर बट नाउ यू नो धीरे धीरे डिमार्को जैसे उसको अटेंशन मिल रहा है धीरे ज़्यादा चालन हांगलू को ज़्यादा अटेंशन मिल रहा है. सो इंटर इज गेनिंग आईबॉल्स एज वेल एंड आई थिंक कि काफ़ी ज़्यादा इंटरेस्टिंग टाई होने वाला है. ऑफ कोर्स आई थिंक इन एवरी अदर टाई इन दिस राउंड देयर इज a slight if not an outright favorite in every fixture but this is a tie that can actually go either way यार either way. I will not be surprised अगर ये tie
You
शायद
think
से
so?
हो सकता है टू लेग्स के बाद भी शायद से ना हो डिसाइड
हाँ मतलब वही है क्योंकि यहाँ पर वही ट्विस्ट इन द टेल इज, मतलब अगेन ओजीज ऑफ द चैंपियंस लीग फॉलोज वुड नो दैट पहले जो होता था ना अवे अवे गोल, तो
अवे गोल
वहां पर द टैक्टिक्स इन द फर्स्ट लेग यूज्ड टू बी लिटिल बिट कंस्ट्रेन्ड ना, मतलब वो चीज है नहीं. तो कंसीडरिंग दैट और इंटर फॉर्म में ना, तो फर्स्ट लेग इज प्रोबब्ली नाउ ऑल द मोर इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर एथलेटिको टू नॉट
या
कंसीड मच क्योंकि दे आर प्लेइंग एट होम सेकंड लेग. और प्रीवियस टाइम में वही चीज डिसएडवांटेज होता था फॉर अ टीम प्लेइंग एट होम. अभी बिकॉज ऑफ द मोमेंट ऑफ इंटर इट माइट बी अदर वे राउंड. लेकिन अगेन विल डिस्कस इन डिटेल अबाउट इंटर जब आई थिंक फतेह विल बी जॉइनिंग इन अ फ्यू मिनट्स एज वेल. लेकिन कमिंग बैक टू ऑब्वियसली आर्सेनल यार, मतलब a lot of it that we can go about it that yes, Arsenal haven't been in the Champions League knockout. You yourself said I think it's been what 7-8 years since they've not been in the Champions League. लेकिन मतलब to be honest, I know everyone यहाँ पर literally everyone obviously because of जो आर्टेटा किया है, the signings that Arsenal have made over the last couple of seasons, और of course जो लीग में चल रहा है भाई, जो लीग पर आएंगे. But कहीं ना कहीं मतलब are we missing the fact that Porto is a side which has reached the knockouts in what last 6 out of 7 times? तो मतलब बुकीज का फेवरेट तो मतलब अलग ही, पता नहीं क्या एल्गोरिथम यूज करते वो लोग. आई हैव नो आइडिया बिकॉज इंटर को वील टॉक अबाउट इंटर. बाय द वे फतेह इज इन द हाउस. इंटरेस्टिंग दैट फतेह, बिग अप टू यू. एब्सोल्युटली नाइस टू सी यू. ग्रेट टू हैव यू एक्चुअली. लेकिन हाँ, वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट आर्सेनल एंड पोर्टो फतेह. तो Porto is like, to be honest, for a team which has been in the last 7 seasons, 6 seasons in the knockout stages, I think you cannot take them lightly at all. मतलब एक होता है ना, मतलब one is that, second is that even transfers के मामले में उतना अच्छा नहीं रहा है. Plus the fact that I think Taremi का टीम न्यूज के बारे में बात करें तो I think firstly he was doubtful, secondly as it is he's going to भाई अपने भाई फतेह ही ले रहे हो इंटर ऑन अ फ्री. इंटर को बीमारी है भाई फ्री में लेने के प्लेयर्स की. पता नहीं बहुत अच्छा करते हैं स्काउटिंग, पुट इट दैट वे.
Crazy.
लेकिन
Even Thuram this season has been so good.
absolutely. लेकिन considering all that, you think because of that context जो मैंने बोला अभी, is that the reason why even being away, जहां पर I think Arsenal have not beaten away if I'm not wrong Porto, but although they've beaten Porto in the past for sure, लेकिन क्या लगता है because of that context maybe it'll be much easier, or you're saying नहीं it'll be a typical Champions League knockout fixture type Daksh?
बड़ा difficult to predict होगा because Champions League is a completely different game compared to the Premier League. I'll say one thing कि देखो Premier League में stylistically there are एक hierarchy establish होती है, एक टीम होती है जो usually favorites होती है और एक टीम होती है जो usually is going to be the scrappy team that is trying to get some points off it. So you have the concept of more low blocks etc. ये सब वगैरह. So Arsenal in the Premier League face a lot of low blocks, the lowest defensive line in the league. इन द चैंपियंस लीग क्या होता है, सारी स्पेशली इस स्टेज पे जो भी टीम्स होती हैं दे आर द दादाज ऑफ देयर लीग, राइट? दे आर द टॉप डॉग्स, दे आर टॉप 1 2 3 एंड उनको कभी यूजुअली आदत नहीं होती, नो टॉप डॉग इज यूजुअली इन दिस स्पेस अनलेस आपके पास एक बहुत ही स्पेसिफिक मैचअप हो जैसे मैन सिटी वर्सेस कोपेनहेगन टाइप्स. एवरीवन इज अ दादा ऑफ देयर लीग एंड दे डोंट लाइक टू सिट बैक, दे वांट टू अटैक, दे वांट टू प्ले एंटरटेनिंग फुटबॉल, they want to go forward. So this will be a different test in the sense that we will be under threat a lot more, our goal will be under threat a lot more. ऐसा नहीं होगा कि हम अपना जो दो सेंट्रल डिफेंडर्स को पीछे छोड़ देंगे और बाकी लोग किसी ना किसी पार्ट ऑफ बिल्डअप पे अटैक करेंगे. नहीं, पोर्टो विल कम एंड अटैक अस. उनके विंगर्स बड़े अच्छे हैं, and of course Taremi is missing, but still you can't minimize the threat from Porto anyway. But on the flip side, you also get a lot of space to attack. ये हमने चैंपियंस लीग के ग्रुप स्टेज में देखा था, where we finished the group stage, even though it was an easy group and Arsenal were expected to top it. अच्छे से टॉप किया, हाईएस्ट जीडी से टॉप किया, एक दो टीम्स को 4-0 फाइनल भी बीट किया हमने, right? Because you get a lot more space. So the game plan completely shifts when you start playing the top teams in the Champions League. Of course, Porto से भी ज़्यादा sterner tests आएंगे. But I think it will be a very different kind of approach that you see from Arsenal. I think attacking wise Arsenal को ज़्यादा joy मिलेगा, but defensively भी हम थोड़ा ज़्यादा test होंगे. I don't see it as a very straightforward fixture जैसे लोग सोच रहे हैं कुछ कि Arsenal ने पिछले 2-3 away games में अच्छे से scores करे हैं, 4-0, 5-0, 6-0 types. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be something we'll have to take very seriously. And I think हम करेंगे. We might not have a very convincing 6-0, 5-0, 4-0 types victory, but I still think we're capable of getting a positive result from this leg, मेरे हिसाब से.
नहीं, इट्स अ फेयर पॉइंट ऑल्सो फॉर पीपल. भाई आई नो काफी लोग यहाँ पर बोल रहे हैं, यहाँ पर कमेंट इससे हाईलाइट किया प्रमोदनी का, ग्रेट कमेंट बाय द वे. पोर्टो इज वेरी अंडररेटेड टीम कंसीडरिंग दे प्ले अ टू स्ट्राइकर फॉर्मेशन. अगेन Taremi का इफ्स एंड बट्स है प्रमोदनी विद 4-4-2, टू पेसी विंगर्स, फुल बैक सपोर्ट विंगर्स इन अटैक. भाई अगेन मतलब you all know मतलब गलीनो he has done it in the Champions League previously. मतलब और a certain Pepe, भाई Pepe नाम से ही मतलब Arsenal तो भाई are better aware of what Pepe does, just saying. लेकिन two Pepes in the side, वहां पर one of course being an OG. लेकिन यहाँ पर मैं इंटर फैन को लाना चाहता हूँ भाई. फतेह, मतलब हम भूल रहे पोर्टो लास्ट ईयर दे जस्ट लॉस्ट 1-0 on aggregate to Inter Milan at this stage, right? And again things have changed, and then जैसे बना Taremi का situation, or maybe that was the reason why Inter went for Taremi. But generally speaking, Porto at home versus Arsenal, what are you expecting? मतलब I know bookies, everyone is saying Arsenal are going to be walking over Porto, लेकिन Fateh, what are you expecting knowing that जो किया था Inter के साथ last season, and generally Porto, if I'm not wrong, are the only Portuguese side in the Champions League left, correct?
Yeah, I mean they were so physical last year, Ankit. That was by far our hardest game. I mean, we played the derby, the Milan derby in the semi-final, and that was not as difficult as Porto because Porto was so physical in that fixture. But I think what's wrong with Porto now is that coach Sergio Conceição, I mean, he's highly rated. There's a chance that he'll come to Italy, but I know a few Porto fans.
एक सेकंड भाई फतेह के लिए भाई यहाँ पर फतवा निकलना चाहिए. I would definitely say हाँ हाँ, इंटर मिलान सबको ले लो भाई, आप सबको ले लो, फ्री में लोगे, मतलब धीरे धीरे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट खत्म होने का वेट करोगे, सबको ले लोगे, मतलब
No,
मेरा
but
और
that's
फतेह का
because
36 का
there's
आंकड़ा
no
चलते
money,
रहता है वो लोग।
it's not a choice. I mean, there's just no money, so there's nothing we can do. But
Yeah,
coming to Porto, their fans say that they've now gotten stale with Sergio Conceição, and a lot of
actually.
Porto fans want to change that. That it's the same football. It is physical, it is difficult, but it's not really bringing them the results. And I think Arsenal will be just. I think they will breeze past Porto. I mean, and also what's Porto's record against the EPL teams? Like I think they've always struggled against. And over the
एग्जैक्टली
last
ये
10
मैं
years,
बोला नहीं भाई, पहले मैं डेंजर वाला एलिमेंट बोल रहा था, बट आई थिंक दक्ष प्रॉब्ली नोज। एंड यहाँ पर भाई चैट से पूछता हूँ भाई, चैट चैट ओपी इन द हाउस, ऑफ कोर्स ओजीज ऑन द पैनल, आई एम श्योर यू नो इट, एंड आई एम प्रीटी श्योर यहाँ पर चैट भी चलती है। Which was the last English club that Porto eliminated the knockouts? Everyone in the chat, do let us know. Which was the last English club which, यहाँ आज का ट्रिविया ये है भाई सब लोग, पोर्टो कौन सा इंग्लिश क्लब को लास्ट नॉकआउट फिक्सचर में एलिमिनेट की है इन द चैंपियंस लीग? लेट अस नो, एंड देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ हिस्ट्री इन दैट पर्टिकुलर फिक्सचर, एंड दैट्स व्हाई आई एम सेइंग इट। आई थिंक आई गिवन अवे विद माय एक्सप्रेशंस कहीं ना कहीं, बट आई थिंक फतेह इज आल्सो, फतेह यू वांट टू टेक अ गेस?
no, I mean, I remember Jose Mourinho's Chelsea knocking Porto out. So, has Porto knocked Chelsea out ever?
नहीं नहीं, इट वाज जोसे मोरिन्योस पोर्टो बैक इन द
Oh,
डे भाई।
Manu, the round of the epic,
United.
oh my
भाई
god,
रिमेम्बर द
Havertz,
टच लाइन
yeah,
उसके
yeah,
बाद
yeah. So,
फर्गसन
20
के साथ
years
भाई।
ago. Wow, 20
एग्जैक्टली
years ago.
भाई,
all those days.
I they probably lost to English opposition quite a bit, absolutely,
Hmm.
लेकिन again मतलब to be honest, मतलब it is a new day, right? It's a new year, so but sometimes it is
Yeah.
in mind, तो हो सकता है थोड़ा negative approach हो सकता है, मतलब you never know, that might happen, but
Hmm.
Utkarsh in the house as well. Utkarsh, nice to see you as well. Abhishek in the house. सब लोग again भाई, I'm seeing a lot of people joining again. We are coming to each and every match. We have started with Porto versus Arsenal, then we'll go to Barca match, कल के matches, then we'll come to tomorrow's match. That is the agenda for the stream. भाई सब लोग hit that like and subscribe to our panel as well. We are waiting for Z-Buys for sure. लेकिन हाँ, so that is how it is. But having said that, मतलब round of 16 में the fact is Porto haven't really surpassed beyond that. तो
Hmm.
considering जो Arsenal का obviously एक experience नहीं बोलूंगा, लेकिन मैं experience भी बोलूंगा, why not Daksh? The fact is you
Hmm.
have a Jorginho, you have a Kai Havertz, मतलब हम तो आज तक बोलते भाई, I was lucky enough to kind of speak to him about it. But the reality is that मतलब in the Champions League night especially, you would like
Hmm.
to use people like them, right? So
Yeah.
considering the injury situation as well, Havertz तो is a shoe-in. वो तो मैं I understand,
He
even
will
his
play.
form,
He
to be
will
honest,
play.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Otherwise, what are you
हाँ,
expecting midfield में?
yeah. The experience वाला question is a very interesting one because जैसे मैंने starting में बोला था, like it's been 7 years and in the past also round of 16 has been usually our biggest roadblock. You'd face a Bayern, you'd lose. Sometimes you'd lose on away goals, whatever it is. But this is also कि ये जो team है, even though it does not have like सिर्फ 2-3 players को ही experience होगा, but it's also the team जिसके पास वो historically fall करने वाला baggage नहीं है. It's a completely new team with no mental blocks in the sense that now we are in the Champions League for the first time, right? There are some ghosts to also still exercise, I would still say. जैसे last year Europa League में we lost to Sporting very uncharacteristically, half line से goal खा लिए types, and I think last year का भी Europa League में Sporting से जब हम हारे थे, that was the fixture that started our downfall because Tomiyasu and Saliba got injured in that game, in one single game. और उसके बाद से things went down. So it's again that fixture also in hindsight looked very straightforward, but it was anything but. Gonzalo Ignacio played the game of his life, and Porto can still step up. There is Varela there, whom I really, really respect. मेरे हिसाब से, who can also step up in that scenario. But like I said, there are players like Havertz, there are players like Jorginho who will need to step up. I was really hoping Jesus and Zinchenko would be free or would be fit enough to play. But the good news is at least Fabio Vieira, ex-Porto player, is fit enough.
Oh, हाँ, Fabio Vieira is ex-Porto. Like,
Yes.
is he fit?
Yeah, he's fit. He's training. I think he'll be available for selection. मेरे हिसाब से bench पे होगा वो. So if not in this leg, I think he'll have a bigger role in the next leg. But even if he was 100% fit, he's not no way ever in this game unseating Odegaard. Odegaard is in the form of his life. Same thing. Thomas Partey is back, which is a huge news for us. Hopefully इस बार वो injure नहीं होगा मेरे हिसाब से. But yeah, you need these players. Even Partey is experienced in the Champions League. Kai Havertz जैसे आपने बोला. But I, to be honest, Ankit bhai, do not expect two different lineup from our last game जो हमने Premier League में खेला था, जो आपको screen पे दिख रहा है.
So
Most
more
likely
like
we will.
confidence factor is what you would like to use here, right? Because वो
Mhm.
actually लग रहा है, मतलब it's not just basically Arteta instilling the football, लेकिन more importantly मतलब people like Havertz for example वो इतना protect किया था early months में, I
Mm.
remember, and I think I was on Arteta's side for that particular point, क्योंकि
Mm.
I know काफी मतलब I know Chelsea fans as a fact trolled Arsenal fans, मेरे लिए वो
Mm.
unfair था because the fact that बंदा भाई price tag बोल दो या whatever बोल दो, he was going there and मतलब Arsenal was still figuring out how to play him. Again, the way the Arteta has used
Yeah.
Declan Rice. Matlab,
The
there is
the
no need
yeah.
to change if it's not broken because Declan Rice is literally doing everything in midfield. So, but
100%.
एक और क्वेश्चन मैं पूछता हूँ क्विकली, चैट आप लोग भी बोलिए, मतलब यहाँ पर चलो कॉन्टेक्स्ट एक चीज होती है कि हु इज अवेलेबल, हु इज नॉट अवेलेबल, लेकिन if everyone is fit, does Arteta really know his starting 11, best starting 11? I know you're getting, great run of form, लेकिन
Mm.
सब लोग फिट हुए, आई डोंट थिंक द सिनेरियो हैज अप्रोच मच, राइट? तो मतलब व्हाट इज योर बेस्ट स्टार्टिंग 11 फॉर यू?
It's a difficult question जैसे आपने कहा to answer, because I think our motto this season has been to adjust the lineup based on the opposition we are facing. Like अगर आप देखोगे against Liverpool, we pretty much started the same lineup, but everyone had a different role. For example, Odegaard and Havertz were leading the press in that game. So Odegaard, instead of like a deep, मतलब वो in possession he was building deep, but he was the one leading the press against that game in Liverpool. But you follow him against West Ham. West Ham में उसकी कोई ऐसी responsibility नहीं थी. He was forming a sort of a pseudo double pivot with Declan Rice in that game. As for Kai Havertz, यार मैं यही कहूंगा जैसे आपने point out किया था that yeah, I mean I understand the trolling यार, but no player to be honest fixes his price. देखो यार, किसी ने चैट में भी पूछा था कि what happened, how has Kai Havertz suddenly developed an understanding. This happens with time यार. He was essentially playing in a midfield जहाँ पे तीन में से दो लोग हमारे नहीं थे. Declan Rice, Kai Havertz and Odegaard. Odegaard's the only one who's been in this team for 2 to 3 years now. उसके अलावा Declan Rice had to learn the system. Kai Havertz had to learn the system. He had to learn how to adjust to Gabriel Martinelli. Right? और Granit Xhaka in our team had one of the most complex roles because उसको attack में भी contribute करना पड़ता है and defense में भी वो contribute करता था. This along with the fact Granit Xhaka was never unfit. मतलब वो हमेशा available रहता था. तो Kai Havertz को yes trolling मिलती थी. Sometimes his finishing was questionable. His decision making was questionable. बट यही होता है ना, इन दिस मॉडर्न टाइम्स वी डू जज प्लेयर्स वेरी क्विकली इन टर्म्स ऑफ जीए, उनका क्या कंट्रीब्यूशन रहता है. बट धीरे धीरे ही इज कम गुड जैसे जैसे टाइम बढ़ता रहता है. एंड आई थिंक दैट्स ट्रू फॉर एनी प्लेयर. इफ यू सी, यू लुक एट रास्मस हॉयलैंड हैड लाइक 0-0-13 in the Premier League, but given some time now, look, he scored what 6 consecutive games he scored.
बिल्कुल
Right.
मतलब वैन निस्टेलरॉय नंबर्स वी आर टॉकिंग यार, ऑल ऑफ सडन.
Exactly my point. So ये सारी चीजें होती हैं यार. Some players adjust really quickly. Some players require time, and requiring time is actually the norm. Adjusting quickly, मेरे हिसाब से is the exception. So shout out to him. In terms of best lineup, I will say Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Tomiyasu on the left. ये हमने देखा नहीं है, but Partey, Declan Rice and Odegaard मेरे हिसाब से is our best midfield.
Wow,
And
that's an interesting one.
yeah, because I think Rice can play in the 8 and I think Partey as a 6
हाँ.
is absolutely unbelievable. Saka Martinelli तो रहेंगे. 9 is the only position. Sometimes you can use Jesus, sometimes you can use Havertz जब deep block आता है and you need somebody to just make the space, because Havertz की सबसे best चीज़ ये है कि he creates so much space for other people just by attracting 1 or 2 defenders. And Trossard भी यार, as a 9 he is putting up incredible numbers. तो 9 में तो even though हम कहते हैं goal scoring is an issue, 9 में fortunately Arsenal are blessed with 3 very different profiles. And yeah, so I think that is my best 11. 9 पे आप किसी को भी रख सकते हो, but बाकी में you know it's Tomiyasu, and then middle में Partey, Rice and Odegaard.
So, but that means if Daksh is sure, by Arteta is for sure. Put it that way. तो भाई, I think let's be real, यहाँ पर surprise होने नहीं वाला, लेकिन big up to Zbai as well. Zbai, welcome to the panel यार.
Thank you
What's
guys,
up?
thank you.
मतलब how is the जोश? वो question जो दक्ष ने पूछा था ना, वही है. मतलब I know 24 hours, मतलब कहीं ना कहीं it is, let's be real, it's the most important game now that जो considering जो season का context है for Barcelona as well. So I think it's an important 24 hours. And of course यहाँ पर back in the Champions League knockouts for both Barca and Arsenal को तो और भी लंबा टाइम है. लेकिन quickly while we go to the Barca game, quick prediction ले लूंगा. जी भाई, we'll just take a prediction from you. Porto versus Arsenal, what are you calling first leg?
एग्जैक्टली जो कल हम बात कर रहे थे ऑलरेडी अपने चैनल पे अंकित भाई, आई सेड कि क्लीन स्वीप, आई बिलीव आर्सेनल इज किकिंग थ्रू। और मैं सुन रहा था यहाँ पे दक्ष जो भाई बात कह रहे थे यहाँ पे एंड जो डिस्कशन हो रही थी, लाइक वेरी ट्रू, आर्सेनल इस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे दे आर इन अ ग्रेट फॉर्म। और आई डोंट थिंक सो कि पोर्टो हैज एनफ आर्टिलरी इन देम टू स्टॉप आर्सेनल। आई डू एक्सपेक्ट कि पोर्टो कैन निक अ गोल, बट आई सी आर्सेनल क्लियरली विनिंग दिस गेम। सो I'm gonna go for Arsenal यहाँ पे। प्रमोदी, मैं तुमसे डिसएग्री करूंगा। It's not gonna be 2-1 for Porto. It's gonna be 3-1 for Arsenal. I see them having a clean sweep in this particular round.
Fair point. But by the way, at home their record is not too bad. लेकिन फतेह, मतलब what are you saying? हमने मतलब briefly discuss किया था जॉर्जिनो वाला point. I'm sure फतेह, Inter are also waiting for Jorginho's contract to get over in Arsenal as well. कि eventually ये भी होने वाला है, क्योंकि यहाँ पर दक्ष ने डाल दिया पार्टे इज फिट नाउ, सो यूज हिम। सो जॉर्जिनो को ऑल भी कम मिनट्स मिलेंगे।
So
वेटिंग, बट
when
व्हाट
is he a free agent? When is he a free agent?
Nah,
फतेह
he is
already
a free agent at the end of this season, but I think we'll
yeah.
exercise his option to extend.
Yeah, बातें चल रही है, I believe that's what the status
Yeah.
is. So let's see. But what is your prediction, Fateh?
No,
Arsenal
I
will
don't
go.
think there'll be those many goals. Maybe Arsenal win 1-0 or 2-0, something like that. You said Taremi is not available, so I think that's going to really complicate things
Possibly.
for Porto.
Yeah.
But not that he's been scoring a lot of goals. He's been very unsettled this season because of his contract talks. So, but I maybe a 2-1 win for Arsenal.
2-1 win to Arsenal. So I think Daksh is going to take that for sure. Pretty sure you're going for a win as well, Daksh. Confident?
Yeah, I would love nothing more than a very decisive win, ताकि we can take the next leg a little easier at home. But I'll go with Zibai's prediction. I think they can nick a goal. There will be some nerves maybe tomorrow with the stadium atmosphere and all. But I will say 3-1 to the Arsenal. 3-1 to the Arsenal in the first leg.
Chalo. All the best. Let's see. Again, a lot of them are clicking, and the best part is they figure out how to use Havertz, and that's dangerous to be honest, especially Champions League में. लेकिन let's move
sorry,
to no problem. We'll just move on to the next game, guys. We are just moving game by game. यहाँ पर first 20 minutes we discussed Porto's Arsenal. Now we'll talk about obviously the other game कल का Barca away to Napoli. भाई साहब, हमने कल ही डिस्कस किया था, हम स्ट्रीम कर रहे थे जीबा के चैनल में, और मजारी भाई साहब मदारी बना दिया उसको बेचारे को। Guy is an experienced manager, and I know Inter fan अपने फतेह will have a lot to say वहां पर, लेकिन जी भाई, because we were in the conversation yesterday, मतलब 3.5 months you are sacking this guy literally 1.5 days before such a big tie. And अगर नापोली का भाई, हम चेल्सी फैन जानते हैं भाई, अगर हमारे लिए कैराबाओ कप फाइनल जो होने वाला है, that is going to be the game of the season. बार्सा फैंस also to some extent आप बोल सकते हो that ये game of the season है, because Champions League में is the major hope you have, right? Napoli, they are doing terrible in the league, right? But one day before a major match, मतलब timing, what is the use of the timing? आप caretaker ला रहे हो, ऐसे नहीं कि यार आपका एक well thought manager आ रहा है in place, right? What is the point?
Well, De Laurentiis पागल है। I mean, उसको मन करेगा, वो सीजन के बीच में उठेगा and he'll be like, हाँ ठीक है, चलो सब चीजें सही चल रही है। He'll be like, okay fine, no problem. And then उसको रियलाइज होगा, नहीं यार उसकी गलती थी कि मिंजे गया, उसको उसने रिप्लेस नहीं किया। And then some winter transfer में he said, अरे नहीं मेरी गलती है यहाँ पे, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं थी, रूडी गार्सिया की प्लेयर्स की प्रॉब्लम नहीं थी, I couldn't add to the squad। वो बैठ के 3-4 प्लेयर साइन कर दिया उसने, डेप्थ उसने इंप्रूव कर दी। The only conversation was going around was कि क्या ज़िलिंस्की कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्सटेंड करेंगे, and they weren't able to tie him to a contract, and I think that's a big major loss। बहुत बड़ा लॉस है यहाँ पे नापोली के लिए, दैट ज़िलिंस्की द मेजर क्रिएटर इन द टीम इज नॉट गोना बी देयर, स्क्वाड में भी वो अवेलेबल नहीं है। बट आई स्टिल फील जो ये बात यहाँ पे मेरे भाई यहाँ पे कह रहे हैं, काफी सही कमेंट है यहाँ पे अंशुल भाई का, कि वी आर बैड बट नापोली आर वर्स, एंड आई थिंक दैट इज ट्रू। एंड आई थिंक बार्सिलोना हैज दैट एक्सपीरियंस, दे नो व्हाट दे हैव टू डू, दे हैव गॉट गुड प्लेयर्स, especially now with Gundogan, with Lewandowski, who have that kind of experience in the top games। and I think over 2 legs we are going through। ये पहला गेम है, वो हमें सबको पता है कि एक न्यू मैनेजर बाउंस होता है, तो मज़ारी को सैक किया गया यहाँ पे, होपिंग कि एक मैनेजर बाउंस, एक रिएक्शन देखने को मिलेगा विद द न्यू मैनेजर कमिंग इन, एंड दिस कुड कॉम्प्लिकेट थिंग्स फॉर बार्सिलोना। एंड आई रियली होप कि भाई, क्योंकि ये अवे गेम है, मैराडोना डर्बी, obviously stadium is very hostile, obviously it's not going to be easy for Barca, but I have been seeing कि पिछले कुछ मैचेस से बार्सा रिजल्ट्स ग्राइंड कर रही है, मतलब the players have been scoring, Leva has been scoring। I do expect कि यमाल would play, not that I want him to play, एक 16 साल के बच्चे को मतलब कितना आप खिलाओगे, but Rafinha is not able to carry that load. So basically it would be about another 16-year-old carrying the team, helping create chances, another 17-year-old at the back of the defense holding strong. So this is how our season has been, but I think ये जो point of time है यहाँ पे बार्सिलोना के लिए, as you said अंकित भाई, बहुत important समय है, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट समय है. नापोली को हराना हमारे लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. अदरवाइज देखो, जावी ने थोड़ा सा प्रेशर कम कर दिया है अपने ऊपर, प्लेयर्स के ऊपर, फैंस के ऊपर, कि यार हम लाइक आई एम गोना गो. So players can play with that freedom. Players can show that support to Xavi. Fans थोड़ा सा relax है यहाँ पे. But Xavi ने एक और बात बोली थी, if they would not qualify in the next round of Champions League, he would leave. So I don't know if that's the right thing for him to do or not. But I really hope कि इस वाले मैच में हम results लें. पता नहीं, एक unerring सी एक confidence है मेरे पास that you know what, because Napoli के पास काफी सारी चीजें खराब चल रही हैं. I think we can beat them. We should beat them, by the way. And I think, good times, finally. Hoping कि Pedri would show some magic. Pedri beard would बढ़ा रखे हैं अपनी थोड़ी सी, Harry Potter बन चुके हैं वो. So let's hope that we could see the real magic from Barcelona tomorrow night.
Interesting. Matlab, again, just carrying off from Napoli conversation, Fateh, I would like to quickly bring you in because of matlab, Mazzarri. We've been there. Matlab, we've seen Mazzarri का जो रहा है. Matlab, I would say, matlab, even off late, I remember Watford में भी आया था, etc. लेकिन what is your take? matlab, getting a Slovakian manager right now as a caretaker, who was a coach, I know, Napoli में, I think under Sarri as well as Spalletti. But what's your quick take on this? जो Napoli कर रहे हैं, matlab, it's madness.
See, Napoli for the last 5 to 10 years, that's a squad, that's a team that's been built for a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. You look at Sarri, he always played the 4-3-3. You look at guys like Benitez, Ancelotti, nobody changed from that 4-3-3. And then Spalletti last year, he's always had that formation, the 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3. So suddenly going back to a manager who has always been a 3 centre backs, 3-5-2, 5-3-2 guy, that was never going to work. So we were all very surprised in Italy that why is Mazzarri the guy? And obviously Walter Mazzarri is the guy that brought Napoli back. That great Champions League fixture against Chelsea, for example.
Yep.
So he was the guy who had a lot of success. But you can't just change 10 years of Napoli's evolution and bring a guy who doesn't even play that formation and then force him to play 4-3-3. And if you look at Mazzarri, he had to play that formation initially. And then there was a game where he played 3-6-1, So, I mean, it was a really, really stupid choice by De Laurentiis. But we are used to such presidents in Italy. I mean, we've seen this happen time and time again. So I think he probably regrets sacking Rudy Garcia. They were doing okay with Rudy Garcia. It wasn't as if there was a crisis. I think they would have finished top 4. So he realizes that, and I think it's just course correction because Mazzarri was just never going to be able to use this squad. I mean, there were trolls and memes being made that Kvaratskhelia was going to play left wing back. I mean, he didn't have a position under Mazzarri's system, so it was really bad. The Zielinski situation, obviously, I think again De Laurentiis just reacted, throw him out.
I think transfer you can easily say Napoli by jo management hai, they're one of the worst ever. It's always been that.
This was really badly done. I mean, this year, they've imploded. As good as they were last year, this year they've just decided to implode themselves. And I don't see any hope for them. No new manager bounce. Nothing's going to happen. I think they just have to start as a year 0 next year again. So this season's just a write-off. And I think Barca will win both the games. I don't even see Napoli, But yeah.
Daksh, एक Victor Osimhen factor cannot be avoided. That is there. I know that AFCON में lot of people saying that जो लोग भाई देखते नहीं सीरिया भाई AFCON देखे 6-7 मैचेस में यार बंदा नहीं. He's not that guy what we think he is. But come on, things happen. By 2014 मुझे याद है Diego Costa sucked, man, for Spain, and we all know what a season he had, Diego Costa. So I'm not reading there. लेकिन इस साल में I think Napoli has scored literally 5 or 6 goals, like so bad, right?
I think Champions League में Di Lorenzo is the highest scorer, 1 goal के साथ or something like that.
वो है. लेकिन the fact is Osimhen was rested, right, last week.
Yeah.
So अभी Osimhen should be back. Again कल थोड़ा अफवाह आ रहे थे कि नहीं है, but I think he should be back. So how are you looking at it? What is the best case for Napoli to kind of deal with this Barca side? Again, we'll come to tactics of the Barca side as well. लेकिन क्या लगता है the Osimhen factor just cross करो inshallah with Di Lorenzo and Osimhen be around.
I mean, yeah, that could be a tactic, but right now I don't know, even if I was Xavi, how would you even prepare for this Napoli team? Because you don't really know. They're going to play with a completely different system. I think this time it's not going to be a case where Napoli will win this tie. It's going to be will Barca lose this tie? Essentially, that's my thing. It's not. It's Barca's ties to lose. मेरे हिसाब से, because it's so difficult sometimes to pinpoint बार्सिलोना के स्ट्रेंथ्स एंड वीकनेसेस, बिकॉज समटाइम्स दे विल हैव अ गेम जैसे उन्होंने ग्रेनाडा के अगेंस्ट खेला था, 3 गोल्स आउट ऑफ एब्सोल्युटली नोवेयर, एंड समटाइम्स इट लुक्स लाइक कि बारसा वो सिंपल चीज़ें नहीं कर पाती, बट अदर टाइम्स यू हैव Lamine Yamal doing so many amazing things, Gundogan stepping up, Lewandowski setting up, and other times आपको लगता है इस टीम में केमिस्ट्री क्या है. So again, I think जैसे स्टार्टिंग में हमने assert कर दिया था that Barca might not be at their peak right now. It's just Napoli are much worse. Now, can Napoli, Kvaratskhelia, ये सब लोग combine करके in this new system, whatever, जो हम new manager bounce को attribute कर देते, will they come up and do something? Even if I would say, even if they grind out a 1-0 win at home, जो first leg है, look, that might also be enough. They could just set up super defensively in the second leg and just grind out the result, and try to capitalize on Barca's mistake rather than playing some sort of expansive, revolutionary football. All they might just need to do is capitalize on Barca's mistakes. And listen, ये Champions League है, कभी भी कुछ भी हो सकता है. You might be having the best preparation for another team, बट एक आपने गलत टैकल मार दिया बॉक्स में, पेनल्टी मिल गई, पूरा गेम का स्टेट चेंज हो जाता है. देन इफ यू आर चेजिंग द गेम, यू एंड अप हैविंग अ लॉट मोर वल्नरेबिलिटी राइट नाउ. सो फिर बारसा राइट नाउ, आई विल से, या इंजरीज तो हैं ही हैं उनकी ऑफ कोर्स, बट आई विल स्टिल से द ओनस इज ऑन बारसा टू विन दिस टाई एंड बारसा टू लूज दिस टाई. अगर बारसा ये टाई हारती है, आई डोंट थिंक इट्स गोइंग टू बी बिकॉज ऑफ नापोलीज ब्रिलियंस. इट्स ओनली गोइंग टू बी कि बार्सिलोना वर नॉट एबल टू एग्जीक्यूट देयर प्लान्स, एंड वही जो सारा स्ट्रगल है. एक बस लास्ट चीज मैं ये कहूँगा, देर इज अ लॉट ऑफ फाइनेंशियल इंसेंटिव फॉर बारसा टू गेट थ्रू टू दिस राउंड. आज ही वो कुछ वेज वाला निकला है. Of course, I will read a little more to understand कि हुआ क्या है. There's a lot of financial incentive here, because again, if Barca exits out of this round, वो feedback loop वापस शुरू हो जाएगा. Where you struggle for money, so you have to buy your second, third, fourth choice targets, या फिर आपको कहीं ना कहीं compromise करना पड़ेगा, किसी को बेचना पड़ेगा, and then that will make your next campaign even harder to go deep into the La Liga or the Champions League, and फिर वही सारा एक loop शुरू हो जाता है. So it's a huge financial incentive for Barca to also perform this time pe. And I think a lot of people have to step up. I agree with Z bhai. 16-year-old पे Lamine Yamal पे आप कितना pressure डालोगे, but he is looking like the only shining hope जो single-handedly इस tie को अपने आप control कर सकता है, I would say.
Ziba, लेकिन coming to you, what Daksh said, मतलब the Xavi factor is there. मतलब the fact is जो बोल दिया है कि भाई he's not going to continue etc. In the Champions League, do you think वो एक मतलब एक positive रहेगा, क्योंकि considering Xavi is a club legend after all, and you मतलब आपने जीता है यार लीग लास्ट सीजन, तो मतलब there is no scope. एक थोड़ा सा था ना कि यार बारसा नॉट एक सही मोड में नहीं चल रही थी, and of course you're conceding a lot of goals. लेकिन the fact is you have I think scored in the last 20 games, each and every game you have scored. तो considering Napoli जो बहुत hardly score कर रही है, I think this is not a bad tie at all. मतलब on paper it looked very dangerous, लेकिन अगर मैं बोलूं by the way Barca is going, और जो Xavi announce किया, I think they'll be even more careful. तो मतलब how are you expecting Barca to set up, or just go about the game from minute one?
Well, अंकित भाई, द सिंपल थिंग इज कि बार्सिलोना ने ऑल द गोल्स मारे होंगे, बट जो उनको देख रहे हैं, वी नो हाउ दे हैव स्कोर्ड द गोल्स. मतलब इट्स लाइक, ओ भाई गोल मार दिया भाई फाइनली. इट्स लाइक दैट. ऐसा सीन होता है लेजेंड. इट्स नॉट एनी मैजिकल थिंग हैपनिंग ऑन द पिच अनलेस यमाल हिट्स वन ऑफ दोस वर्ल्ड डीड्स आउटसाइड द बॉक्स, और एल्स मतलब लेवांडोव्स्की गोल मारता है तो हम जाके वहां पे लाइक हम दुआ मांगते हैं, हम प्रे करते हैं, अरे भाई थैंक यू लेवा ने गोल मार दिया आज. तो इट हैपेंस लाइक दैट. वी आर लाइक यस गोल पड़ गया. सो
लेकिन जी भाई, if I can quickly come in between before you continue, isn't it the fact कि Xavi ने वो benchmark create किया था last season, because of which you're expecting it, plus the context of injuries, मतलब if you have to put it that factor.
Well, Ankit bhai, जो भी कहो, Barca has always never had problems in terms of scoring goals, and well, that was because we had a certain someone जो हमें हमेशा बचा लिया करता था. कहाँ है तू यार, मतलब क्या बताऊं मैं,
हाँ,
मतलब इट
चैंपियंस
वाज
लीग एंड बारसा तो भाई 2000 और 2010 के बीच में रोनाल्डिनियो फैक्टर और उसके बाद में ऑब्वियसली मेसी फैक्टर
लियो
देन
मेसी.
नेमार एंड या
Yeah, so there used to be a guy who always used to save us in those instances. कोई भी matches हो, कितना भी हम खराब खेले, Leo Messi would step up, score a brace, score a hat trick, score a fucking great goal outside the box. But इस point of time पे we have to grind the results. But to be really honest, game कैसा जाएगा? Like we said, we don't know how the new coach is gonna set up Napoli. उसके लिए ये एक बहुत बड़ा testament होगा कि भाई पहला game कैसा जा रहा है. I don't know how long he's gonna be here. कितना लंबा contract है उसको? Is he gonna be
जून
interim
तक है फॉर
manager या
नाउ
फिर उसको?
बट अगेन इट
Exactly.
डिपेंड्स
Then
नो
so
नोइंग
for
नापोली दे माइट एज वेल रिमूव हिम एज वेल हु नोस
Absolutely. But for Barcelona, I think what Xavi wants and has iterated a lot of times is to be compact. Xavi को नहीं पसंद है when we lose the ball. And Xavi, similar to Arteta, similar to Pep Guardiola, similar to all those managers who love to be on the ball, doesn't want to be robbed of position, and which Barcelona have been doing for so many times, and this is a major reason जिसकी वजह से हम split apart होते हैं. So जो यहाँ पे दक्ष भाई ने कहा कि it if Barca हारेगी, it won't be because Napoli बहुत अच्छा खेल गया, it would be because we have done something really wrong. But I do expect Barca to keep that control. Structurally Napoli has been very poor, although Barca का भी structural issue रहता है, but in terms of the progressive play, the verticality, it would all depend कि Xavi क्या 11 खिलाने वाला है. I'm excited to see Cancelo again play on the left hand side. How are we gonna defend Osimhen run in behind, because Barcelona ने इतने सारे गोल इस बार खाए हैं from strikers who make those runs in behind. And ये बात मैं हमेशा से कह रहा था इस सीजन के स्टार्ट से, इस सीजन के मिड में, that for now, for us, it's very important that we go to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. मतलब कि हम round 16 के दोनों मैचेस खेलें, जीतें. And इसका रीजन financial terms में था, because we will win and we'll get lots of money because of winning both these games. हम फिर 2 मैचेस और खेलेंगे, and it is shocking, it is really shocking for me to find out कि बारसा का वेज बिल हाईएस्ट है अभी भी. Like, wasn't this the whole point कि मेसी को जाने देंगे, बुस्केट्स को जाने देंगे, जॉर्डी अल्बा को जाने देंगे? We let go of our top earners so that हमारा वेज बिल कम हो. I do not understand how बारसा का वेज बिल सबसे ज्यादा हाईएस्ट है यूरोप में. एंड जो आज की एक और रिपोर्ट आई है कि हमारा जो एक्सेप्टेड wage cap है, that has decreased from 270 million to 204 million. मतलब our all salary budget should be under 204 million, and that is upwards of 650 million euros. So that is scary. And इस वजह से I do not want, and I feel very sad when I say this, I do not want Barca to win these games because of sporting merits. Sadly, I want him to win because of the financial merits, because these 4 matches will provide us something. ये मुफ्त के पैसे हैं जो हमें मिलेंगे just games जीतने पे. So go on, win those games, because condition बहुत खराब है. And guys, be ready. Summer में you could see major transfers. आप expect कर लो Frenkie would be sold, because he's the highest earner at Barcelona, and it's gonna be really bad अगर हम नहीं हरा पाते यहाँ पे
मतलब सुनने
Napoli
में
को.
आ रहा है लिवरपूल, आई नो रूमर्स है, बट क्रिस्टियनसन का बेसिकली देयर वर लिंक्स टू लिवरपूल एज वेल. मतलब फॉर ऑल वी नो ही माइट कम बैक एज प्रीमियर लीग. लेकिन हाँ, फ्रैंकी इज एन ऑब्वियस नेम, लेकिन वहां पर एक्सपेक्टेशन बहुत है. सेम विद अराहो, आई गेस द एक्सपेक्टेशन वाज अ बिट टू मच. आई थिंक दैट्स वेयर दे वर नॉट एबल टू काइंड ऑफ गेट अ डील थ्रू, एंड फेयर इनफ. लेकिन फतेह, मतलब आई विल जस्ट टेक द ओपिनियन फ्रॉम यू फॉर द जावी. अच्छा, फतेह इज गॉन. आई थिंक ही विल जॉइन बैक. आई थिंक प्रोबब्ली ही हैज सम नेट इश्यूज, बट
जी भाई, आपका स्टार्टिंग लाइनअप क्या होगा इस वाले गेम में?
Well, यार मैंने अभी इस पे थॉट नहीं डाला है. I was actually like blocking all the football related, Barca related thing कि भाई जब आएगा तब मैं फेस करूंगा. But in मेरे starting 11, like obviously Ter Stegen, Koundé, Araujo. I want to see Christensen in that DM role because he excited me playing that. हम ज़्यादा solid थे, so that would mean कि Inigo Martinez left-sided centre back खेलेंगे, or else even Kubarsi can play. He has been good, but I don't want to risk like एक 17 साल का बंदा again at the back. And although he has been very good, I won't be surprised if he starts. Cancelo. Mid May, I want to see Christensen again. Gundogan, Pedri, Frenkie de Jong. And up top, Leva, Yamal. And I think left side pe, it would be Vitor Roque.
वितर ओके, आगे लेवा और समझ, ठीक है. आई थिंक आदित्य का भी जो अंकित भाई जो कमेंट है ना, दिस इज व्हाट आई वाज इवन गोइंग टू से, बिकॉज ये सबसे बड़ा इशू इज नॉट दैट बारसा ने रिड्यूस कर लिया, इट्स जस्ट दैट द डिफर्ड वेजेस वाला है ना इशू, इट्स सो ह्यूज फॉर देम. इवन दो दे लेट गो ऑफ मेसी, जॉर्डी, Gerard Piqué, all of इनकी wages अभी भी बाकी हैं. So it's not
सही
that they
बात है.
have high wage bill. ये सारी बस एक cap space में सादिक भाई से भी बात करते हैं. It's just dead cap space. They can't utilize it because इन्होंने अभी भी ये पूरा भरा नहीं है. And same thing, इनका जो first lever था, जो बारसा स्टूडियोज को बेचने वाला था, that deal has they still haven't received money from that deal yet. तो उसका कुछ ही पैसा आया है. So their first lever has actually not gotten them any sort of short-term debt relief. तो yeah, आदित्य का बिल्कुल सही point है.
Interesting. By the way, Fateh is just back. Fateh, we were just discussing on the lineups and of course the wage structure, etc. Lekin coming back to the Xavi situation, मतलब again being old
12
school
player
Fateh,
बोल गए. Sorry
यहाँ पर
guys.
जावी के साथ में फतेह भी गायब हो गए. लेकिन फतेह, do you think मतलब it's an overreaction? मैं कल बात ही करता जी भाई से that the fact that of course we know the Spanish media, especially with Barca, certain clubs का है यार, Barca, Manchester United, even Chelsea to some extent, मतलब you get so much hate that you cannot kind of deal with it, and of course बहुत unfair भी था, but he's dealt with so many injuries. We were just talking yesterday that literally the left side of Barcelona all are injured. ठीक है, तो वहां पर and Xavi, yes, he's done badly defensively as a coach. जो मैं equate कर रहा था somewhere down the line जो Lampard का first stint था in Chelsea, where he got us to top 4 in the second season, why he was terrible in the defensive structure, etc. And he was sacked. But where are you, मतलब Barcelona in terms of fitment? People are saying that Zerbi, etc. coming in, maybe old school Thiago Motta, Rafa Marquez, old Barca boys जो Barca करती है हमेशा getting in. Where are you as a neutral? आप देखते हो, you have seen Barca over the years as well. मतलब where should Barca just make sure that Xavi is convinced and just focus on UCL, or do you think that Xavi is not going to change his decision of going? And मतलब क्या करना चाहिए यहाँ पर Xavi को and Barca को?
No, I mean, I do hope that he changes his decision because, he is a club legend and there is no real need, I think, at Barcelona to sort of change, having continuity, having stability after all these past few years. He's already won the league last year. I don't think there's any sort of expectation that he needs to win the league every year. I think for Barcelona, what's more important right now is to look at the financial aspects. And I think Xavi is going to keep them in the top 4. They're going to challenge for trophies. Just because this year they're not going to win the league doesn't mean heavens have fallen. So I didn't really expect, and I didn't really get why he wanted to leave. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of politics behind closed doors that we as fans don't get to know. But I think Laporta and Xavi, I think they'd steadied the ship. I mean, Barcelona had become a mess over the last 3 to 5 years, and I think last year was very refreshing. It seemed to me that they were on the right path, on the right track. So again, changing the coach and say bringing somebody like Zerbi, I mean, just because he's a name that is fashionable right now. Can he understand the values of Barcelona? Obviously, he's a good coach, but it's a completely different institution. The pressure is very different. So I think Xavi was handling things very well, and I expected Xavi to be there long term. To steady the ship, and maybe someday Pep Guardiola would return. That's how I was thinking was going to happen. So I'm very surprised that he's going to leave this early. And I don't even think there's any crisis at Barcelona. I mean, you finish top 4 and then start again, next season. I mean, you're already the defending champions. So, and look at the kind of money that Real Madrid are going to be spending. They've got a new stadium, they've got Mbappe.
Mbappe हो गया, it's done.
Yeah, so that would temper expectations as it is at Barcelona. That there's no real. There shouldn't be any pressure that they have to win the league every year. I think right now financial stability should have been more important. So I'm very surprised. But if a new coach comes in, and Thiago Motta is doing so well in Italy, and he's kind of a revolutionary when it comes to tactics at times. I mean, what he's done at Spezia. So it could be interesting, but I don't think he's ready for that sort of pressure. And also because somebody like Xavi would probably not feel the pressure because he's a legend there. So bringing a guy like Zerbi who's never handled a club like that, the pressure like that, or even Thiago Motta, I don't think that's the right way.
भाई यहाँ पर एक ग्राफिक डाला है मैंने, आज न्यूज आ रही है that as things stand, which obviously changes month by month if I know right, the UEFA coefficients of the ranks based on that, यहाँ पर Italy and Germany have potentially a extra team going into it, और जहाँ पर Thiago Motta का नाम लिया भाई, as things stand, Bologna going to the Champions League next season. Zibhai, we discussed yesterday briefly, मतलब any change of mind overnight by any chance, or you think नहीं, it's better to get a experienced guy itself?
Wow, for Barcelona, well, Thiago Motta excites me, and so did Xavi Hernandez, so does De Zerbi, and we have talked about this, Ankit bhai. That is point of time pe we need probably something different, and we need probably एक अच्छी profile in our team जो कि can guide, can steer the ship. जैसे कि देखो, मैंने अपने वीडियो में भी कहा ये बात कि यार बार्सिलोना इस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे दे आर two signings away from being a very solid team. It's not like कि बहुत बुरी situation है. Situation like off the pitch होगी with finances and stuff like that. But we are two signings away from being a very solid team. Probably एक DM बहुत important है हमारी team में. So as soon as we get that, and even if Xavi would have stayed, I think he would have done better than what he has been doing this year. But given कि भाई अगला अब मैनेजर कौन होगा, I have no clue because financial dilemma हमारे पास है definitely. I would like to have एक Hansi Flick, एक थोड़ा सा breath of fresh air, एक something different, not going on banking on somebody else as a Barca legend. कि फिर से okay, चलो ये बंदा Barca legend है, he knows the club, knows the club वाला part हमने करके देख लिया. अगर फैंस जावी के साथ पेशेंस नहीं रख पाए, how
अब
how
तो
can
किसी
you
के
go
साथ
on
भी
to
नहीं
say that
रखेंगे
you
एग्जैक्टली।
can have that patience with Rafa
सीरा
Marquez,
का
Garcia
कमेंट मैंने
Pimenta?
हाईलाइट कर दी भाई, मतलब डू यू अग्री विद दिस थिंग, दैट इज व्हाई हैंसी फ्लिक समवन हु काइंड ऑफ कैन गेट यू दैट स्टेबिलिटी दैट यू नीड।
Well, he can, for like, see, he has done great job with Bayern Munich. हमने देखा है कि भाई उसने like he has made them serial winners, कितनी सारी titles उन्होंने जिताई. Well, obviously he knows the German way. मेरा एक और पिक होता है, हमेशा इसके बारे में बात करता हूँ, इमानुएल अल्गुआसिल, सोसिडाड्स मैनेजर. बहुत डिफिकल्ट है उसको लाना, बट देन अगेन ही नोज द ला लीगा, ही हैज वर्क विद द यूथ, ही इज अ ग्रेट प्रोफाइल. अब पीपल डोंट रेट हिम अ लॉट बिकॉज सोसिडाड उतने बड़े मूव्स नहीं करती है, बट ही हैज फॉर्म्ड अ बिग इंपॉर्टेंट वेरी बिग कल्चर, एक लेगेसी एट सोसिडाड, हैज मेड देम फाइटिंग फॉर द टॉप 6 टॉप 7 teams in La Liga every single year. So for that, I have huge profound likeness and respect for him. एक लो की अगर मैनेजर लाना है तो बिफोर डिजर्बी, बिफोर मोटा, आई वुड वांट टू हैव हिम. बट देन अगेन भाई, मेरे तो कोई से नहीं होती यहाँ पे ना कौन मैनेजर आएगा. बढ़िया एक लाइकनेस हांसी फ्लिक को इसलिए बिकॉज ही इज एक strong personality. He has a sway on the team. He can play with the youngsters, and I expect him to do good. But let's see, will Barca be able to get him, या फिर हम वही जाएंगे. लपोटा के ऊपर बहुत बड़ा डिसीजन है यहाँ पे मेक करने के लिए. Will he go for mediocrity, or will he actually go on and try to excel this team, which I believe with the right direction they can.
ये कहाँ सा है भाई? ये कहाँ सा है कमेंट भाई?
बार्सा लेजेंड है वो बंदा, लेजेंड है. नो
भाई
लाइज
यहाँ
ओवर
तो
हियर.
बारसा
वाइपर
चेल्सी
बिग
भी
अप.
मैं तो बोलता हूँ। गुड वन, गुड वन. लेकिन दक्ष, व्हाट इज योर टेक है भाई इन टर्म्स ऑफ जावी's फ्यूचर एंड बारसा's फ्यूचर? वेयर आर यू ऑन इट? क्योंकि मैं तो क्लियर हूँ भाई, मुझे लगता है दैट जावी इज बेसिकली एक टैक्टिक, मतलब टैक्टिक नहीं बोलूंगा, कहीं ना कहीं वो इमोशनल डिसीजन था, एंड देन कहीं ना कहीं इट माइट हेल्प देम इन द चैंपियंस लीग टू बी गिव दैट एक्स्ट्रा 1%. It helps obviously in the knockout competition, and then he might change his mind. I genuinely believe that. I don't know what you feel.
You think he might actually change his mind to stay?
Yeah, I actually do that.
मतलब भी एक्स्ट्रॉर्डिनरी है मेरे हिसाब से, बिकॉज अगर आप एक बार ये कर देते हो, आई थिंक जैसे आपने अपना ये डिसीजन अनाउंस कर दिया, आई लीव एट द एंड ऑफ द सीजन, आई थिंक क्लब ऑलरेडी काम करना शुरू कर देगा आपकी रिप्लेसमेंट पे. दिस इज नॉट समथिंग यू विल डू जो आप समर के पास करोगे. नीदर वुड बारसा वांट समथिंग लाइक दिस, बिकॉज जितना आप डिले करोगे, ऑफ कोर्स इट्स नॉट लाइक बारसा विल बी द ओनली क्लब इन द मार्केट फॉर अ न्यू कोच. अभी हम सुन रहे हैं टूकल इफ ही लीव्स बायर्न,
हाँ, पूरा
there are
मेरी
a
गो
lot
राउंड
of,
होने वाला अब.
right, there's going to be a lot of उधर भी इधर उधर होने वाला है. जैसे लाइक ओलिवर ग्लासनर जैसा बंदा क्रिस्टल पैलेस को मैनेज करने आ रहा है प्रीमियर लीग में. सो there's going to be plenty of clubs. अभी लिवरपूल का अगला मैनेजर कौन होगा? That is going to be a very attractive destination,
Xabi
right?
Alonso बहुत बड़े
Yeah.
प्रोफाइल लेके हैं जो कि
What are you going to do? अगर Xabi Alonso leaves Leverkusen would want to instill some manager who can have at least some sort of stability, कि वो slide down ना कर जाए at least वापस. So there will be a lot of clubs who will have Champions League to offer, who will have some money to offer, who will have a more stable environment to offer to managers to build out, to fatify that sort of CV, you know. Of course, Barca ka pull to Barca ka pull hai, but it's not the only club with pull that will be looking. Most likely Bayern Munich and Liverpool to definitely will be looking for a new manager. So even if people say कि Hansi Flick should be there, this appointment has to be wrapped up ASAP, because अगर जितना आप ज़्यादा late करोगे, because Liverpool is looking for that replacement if it's Xabi Alonso or not. Bayern Munich will look depending on Tuchel का क्या होता है. He lost in the Bundesliga as well, तो उसका क्या सीन है तो देखना पड़ेगा. My personal preference, I know even though like जैसे फतेह भाई ने कहा, I completely understand this point of view कि it's a fashionable name, but I genuinely think as a short term 2 to 3 year fix, De Zerbi makes the more sense to me, because he is somebody who is used to working in austerity, माने limited funds में. He just works with the players जो टोनी ब्लूम की रिक्रूटमेंट उसको पकड़ा के दे देती है कि ये ले भाई बल्लेबा ले ले, अब तेरे को कैसेडो वाले काम इस बल्लेबा से कराने पड़ेंगे. और use Simon and Dingra as a right winger. Oh, half your squad is injured, you cannot use Pascal Gross
तो
in this
दैट
game.
इज वेयर बारसा हैव बीन डूइंग ना, मतलब लास्ट 7-8 कल मैं बात ही कर रहा था
Exactly.
कि 7-8
yeah.
मैचेस में से 5-6 बारसा पीपल है, एंड द फैक्ट इज उनका क्या स्ट्रेटजी रहता है, दे गेट पीपल फ्रॉम ला मासिया एंड दे काइंड ऑफ बैलेंस द थिंग्स
Exactly.
आउट, बिकॉज आप बारसा के हो तो काइंड ऑफ यू आर ओके. फॉर समवन लाइक डिजर्बी चेंजिंग लीग्स और प्रीमियर लीग से भाई मतलब ऐसा
Hmm.
बोलता है यार at the end of the day.
Yeah,
For him
yeah.
to kind of go there and kind of do the same what a ex Barca, say a legend or a Barca player would do, I think ये थोड़ा बहुत for
ये चीज तो
Deserbi
जावी
sons
भी
है,
कर रहा था ना अंकित
Yeah.
भाई, ये चीज तो जावी भी तो कर रहा था ना.
Exactly.
लिमिटेड बजट
Exactly.
में अपने प्लेयर्स को, यंग प्लेयर्स, कितने प्लेयर्स को उसने डेब्यू दिया. दिस इज व्हाट ही वाज डूइंग. एंड
Yeah.
व्हाट वुड डिजर्बी डू डिफरेंट दैन हिम? एब्सोल्युटली नॉट जजिंग डिजर्बी, ही इज अ फैंटास्टिक मैनेजर एंड आई वुड लव टू हैव हिम इन माय टीम, बट ही इज नॉट गोना डू a lot different than what Xavi did. Probably change a
Agreed.
style, but players
Yeah.
वही हैं. Signings हम कुछ खास ऐसे कर नहीं रहे हैं. But बारसा की प्रॉब्लम इज नॉट विद द प्लेयर्स. बारसा की प्रॉब्लम सबसे बड़ी इज विद द मेंटालिटी, विद द अप्रोच ऑफ द गेम, विद द
Hmm.
कनेक्शन ऑफ द टीम, द केमिस्ट्री, विद द अंडरस्टैंडिंग बिटवीन ईच अदर.
Hmm.
मेंटल ब्लॉक एक बहुत
Hmm.
बड़ा है विद गेम्स, अर्ली गोल कंसीड करना, डिफेंसिव मिसहैप होना. एंड डिजर्बी डजंट डिफेंड. Zerbi wants to play his
Oh,
game,
yeah.
and Barca
Exactly.
play their game. Barca
Yeah.
play their game, and they have been doing under all the managers. Right now, we need to have solid plan. Last year, Barca defended and they conceded the least number of goals to us. Again, had most number of assists, joint record in La Liga, and that was. And we know how we did that. We played one of the most awful football that I have seen Barca play in all. जब से मैं football देख रहा हूँ, and that's how we managed a league title. We were able to defend. सो क्या
Yeah.
कॉम्प्रोमाइज हमें करना पड़ा उस चीज को करने के लिए, ठीक है? So that we Barca fans know. With Deserbi, would he want? I don't think so. He would go play that because
I
Deserbi
don't
is not
know.
that kind of
मेरे
manager.
हिसाब से he could be the guy for, जैसे मैंने कहा austerity में तो वो काम करते हैं, इधर उसको चाहे वो recruitment ना मिले but he has an entire academy to work with. And
Absolutely.
जैसे जी भाई भी कह रहे हैं, he has a very strong philosophical orientation कि मैं तो भाई he is the only manager in the Premier League जिसने अभी तक has not built with the long goal kick in the Premier League. He always plays out from the back. कुछ भी हो जाए, गोल मिलेगा वो पीछे से ही बिल्ड अप
So
करेगा.
दक्ष भाई वो ये कर सकता है ब्राइटन पे. वो ब्राइटन पे करेगा
Yeah.
बिकॉज ब्राइटन 8 फिनिश करे या 6 फिनिश करे, बहुत सारे उनको डिफरेंस नहीं है. बट ही कांट डू दैट एट बार्सिलोना बिकॉज
No,
बार्सा
I'm not
फैंस वुड
saying he'll do it at Barca.
skin him.
Yeah, I'm not saying he'll do it at Barca, but the point was that he has a philosophy and he sticks to it based on the team he has, मेरे हिसाब से. And if he feels at Barca I need to go long, I think he'll go long. Again, I don't think Deserbi is going to be a legendary manager for Barca जो 4-5 साल से 7-8 4-5 भी मेरे हिसाब से ज़्यादा हो जाएगा. 2-3 is max, I think. Right now हमें एक थोड़ी, जैसे फतेह भाई ने भी कहा था, the expectation should not be at Barca, even though it's a big club. हम बार्सिलोना है, हमें लीग जीतना है, हम इतने साल नहीं जीत सकते. Right now it's very obvious to everyone Madrid are miles ahead right now. What I would think, जैसे मैन यूनाइटेड में इतने लंबे इश्यूज हुए थे, दे गॉट वैन हाल, दे गॉट मोइस, दे गॉट मोरिनियो, दे गॉट सो मेनी मैनेजर्स, बट जब तक अभी इनियोस ने आके कोर इशू एट द क्लब को एड्रेस नहीं किया, फिक्स द फाइनेंसेस, गेट द राइट पीपल इन एट मैन यूनाइटेड, तब तक इट इज नॉट अ प्राइम्ड प्रोजेक्ट टू सक्सीड. अभी द एडवांटेज इज बार्सा हैज अमेजिंग ग्रुप ऑफ यंग टैलेंट्स in terms of आपके लमीन यमाल हो गए, आपके पेड्री, गावी will be back from injury and everything, your Kubarsis and your Faye and your Fermin, ये सारे लोग are primed to be a beast at the same time. So use Deserbi as a placeholder manager. I would have preferred Xavi to stay, but जैसे जी भाई ने कहा, he's not going to do anything different. I think it is going to be the smoothest transition from Xavi to Deserbi. Use these 2-3 years to fix everything else in the back. Fix your wage structure, get the right recruitment, and then जब 2-3 साल हो जाएंगे, then you get Hansi Flick, जो मेरे हिसाब से एक finishing touch manager types है. You get him when you want to now compete, you want to add that finishing touch to your squad and build the big things. मेरे हिसाब से if Barca go for a Flick kind of manager, could be success. I'm not a clairvoyant, मेरे को future नहीं दिखता. I could be completely wrong, but it could also go into this Man United वाला direction जहाँ पे win now, win now, win now. हम Man United है, हमें अभी जीतना है, हम कैसे नहीं compete कर सकते Premier League title के लिए, and before you know it, it's been a decade since you last won something, right? So मेरे हिसाब से it could start a very negative feedback loop at Barcelona because हम Barcelona हैं, ये हमारा घमंड है, जो होना भी चाहिए to an extent, but I think एक जब तक अगर आप इसको एक स्ट्रेटेजिक वे से रिजॉल्व नहीं करोगे, आई डोंट थिंक इट्स द राइट वे. मेरे हिसाब से द मरीनियोस, द कॉन्टेज, ये सारे जो नाम है डोंट मेक टू मच सेंस टू मी. मेक द स्मूदेस्ट ट्रांजिशन फ्रॉम जावी to the next 2-3 years,
in terms
fix
of
the
the
background
football.
issues, and then you go forward and attack Madrid and the league.
तो फतेह मतलब यहाँ पर आदित्य जो बोल रहे हैं डिजर्बी विल नॉट बी सक्सेसफुल एट बारसा, देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ प्रेशर, ही विल tactically get screwed this Killian in La Liga as tactical manager. I would get back to again Fateh. I remember the Sassuolo days. मतलब Zerbi even then, to be honest, मतलब there were a lot of good things that they did, but defensively there were huge issues as well at the same time. ठीक है, सेम चीज यहाँ पर ब्राइटन में भी दिख रही है. तो मतलब कहीं ना कहीं I have one point of view. I don't know if people might agree. आज मैंने ट्वीट भी किया था that if you see tactically, you know, मतलब जो मेरी को राउंड होने वाला है ना, I know we'll come back to this Champions League games, लेकिन बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग कॉन्वर्सेशन है फतेह. So I see Hansi Flick, you see him potentially managing Liverpool. I feel his kind of football can do with
Good
Liverpool.
way.
सच में बोले तो that might actually be the right fit in terms of जहां से jigsaw puzzle शुरू होगा.
100%.
And then you possibly see an Alonso freeze up. I know Bayer Leverkusen का मतलब the owners etc saying that he's going nowhere, but we all know that as with all due respect he will move. ठीक है, तो वहां पर he might just go to Bayern Munich, neighboring. You know Bayern Munich करती है वो, मतलब unfortunate for Tuchel. Then basically in that sense again, मतलब you're talking about the Deservis of the world, you're talking about maybe the old Barca player legends in terms of Rafa Marquez of the world. What are you thinking, Fateh?
No, I think De Zerbi is a very good manager, and Barcelona, I don't think defense has ever been their strong suit. I mean, they've never really cared for defenses, even at their peak. You know, the total football Johan Cruyff teams, they were not known for the defensive setups.
And they can
Even
anyway they will buy a CDM once they
yeah,
sell one
so
of their
I
assets.
don't think that is going to be the problem. My only problem is that at a point when Real Madrid are going after Mbappe, they have these huge revenues from the stadium and whatnot, and Barcelona have financial issues. It's much easier to get behind a club legend like Xavi. If somebody from outside comes in, whether as it's already been mentioned, whether he'll be given any time. I mean, if the fans are not happy with Xavi, if there's that much pressure on him, then for anybody else who's not that not a huge name, it's going to be a big problem. And I think even Hansi Flick, somebody mentioned, like that German national team, that team had talent and it went nowhere. Those years he went nowhere, and there are a lot of question marks about him. So I don't know, this is really not the time that Barcelona should again have a new manager and lose that stability. There's so much going on outside the football club, outside the pitch, that I would really want Javi to reconsider, because it's very difficult to sack a manager like that, to sack a figure like that. And a De Zerbi probably will not get that much time that Javi got. So there'll be a demand for immediate results, and I don't know how you dislodge this Real Madrid next season. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not looking like it's going to happen. So yeah, I mean, that's the way I think.
मतलब इधर या तो you have to go in the transfer market, so unfortunately you have to sell for that, तो वो बनता नहीं है. या तो basically you get just patience, जो difficult है in Barca, or you
बहुत.
get some manager who kind of just clicks right away, which is again what we are talking about, we are discussing about. यहाँ पर was feeling depressed. Thanks guys for the amazing session. Big up to you again. Big up to everyone here. No problem. Absolutely a year for each other, man. We are the same. आज Chelsea fan base में यही आज हो रहा था बात कि भाई we are here. 1.5 साल से कुछ हुआ नहीं, कुछ नहीं, घंटा बजा रहे हम लोग, लेकिन एवरी डे इज न्यू डे यार, एवरी डे इज न्यू डे. यू गए मतलब हम वी वर देयर व्हेन वी वर शिट. आई नो बारसा में नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, डोंट गेट मी रॉन्ग, लेकिन द रियलिटी इज हम देखते हैं फुटबॉल बिकॉज वी लाइक दैट क्लब, द वे दे प्ले, हिस्ट्री, और एक होप रहता है भाई, दैट इज ऑलवेज देयर. If a manager is tactically shrewd, then La Liga is your graveyard. In La Liga, you have to be tactically flexible, which Xavi was until last year. Aditya, interesting comment that as well. Like, let's get back to the Champions League. Nagelsmann, by the way, मुझे तो clearly लग रहा है after Ancelotti वो Real Madrid ही लग रहा है. मतलब I don't know why. I'm getting Nagelsmann to Real Madrid eventually. वो होने वाला at some point in time. Klopp, that's an interesting one. Eventually Klopp वापस आएगा management. At what point we don't know. So we can only speculate abhi. So
I'll just say one last thing, Ankit bhai, about this manager wala thing. I understand this inexperience wala thing is a huge thing for Barca, but I'll be honest, जब Barca में Xavi की hiring हुई थी, one of the biggest selling points was he knows Barca DNA. He was a part of prime Barca. But if you take Xavi the name away, it is still a manager who was managing at Al Sadd to manage straight to Barcelona. So it's not like it is a very definite experienced path कि ये बंदे ने टॉप 6 लीग्स में मैनेज करा है इतने रेगुलर ईयर्स तक एंड नाउ ही इज बिल्ट एन आइडेंटिटी. Barca DNA was a huge part of Xavi's hiring as well. So I understand this inexperience wala part, but Barca have been operating with a high potential inexperienced manager जिससे किसी ने लिखा भी है. I think आदित्य ने लिखा था tactically flexible एक manager था who had a way to play, and I think Zerbi fits in that. So it's not that Xavi was managing a La Liga club for 10 years, 6 years, 7 years and then moved to Barcelona अपना जैसे Z bhai was saying कि Sociedad का manager is well versed with the league. So I think inexperienced वाला point falls a little flat for me, to be honest.
चलो, fair points again, great discussion this part. लेकिन again everyone agrees in terms of the scoreline. तो Z bhai, yeah, you want to end that topic?
No, I think agreed with the what Arun Bhai has said with the super chat. यार nice points यहाँ पे भाई आपने दिए. Daksh का भी understandable है. The only thing I have against De Zerbi is कि before De Zerbi for me is always Emmanuel Alguacil. Inexperienced वाला part कोई नहीं है. You wanna go with Xavi, वो भी inexperienced थे. The only reason Xavi was here because he was a club legend. But with De Zerbi is I don't see him as a tactically flexible बंदा. He has got a lot of problems in the team. अभी तक उसने अपनी team को solid नहीं किया है. Obviously he has lost a lot of players, but still he likes to play that way. I love De Zerbi ball, and I know with the players at Barcelona he would do better. But being a Barca fan, I know at this point of time we can't go another into 2-3 years of transition because एक बार आप उस hole में suck हो गए ना, 2 years transition with De Zerbi, oh भाई ठीक है, expectation थी, inexperience. So you will have reasons and explanations if that signing fails. जैसे Xavi के साथ अरे inexperience था, DM नहीं था. With De Zerbi same, you would have oh भाई ठीक है, inexperienced manager था, fine, let's go get somebody else. इस point of time पे I believe we need somebody who is mentally strong, who can say अबे उठ भाग. We need people to run on the pitch. How the hell are players sleep? और हर मैच के बाद की ये सेम स्टोरी होती है. पेद्री हर मैच के बाद ये कहते हैं players were sleeping. How the hell were you sleeping, bro? Why were you sleeping? I believe Xavi instructs his team कि भाई सोना नहीं है. That is like rule number 1 of football. पिच पे आपको एक्टिव रहना है, proactive रहना है. That is something I think इस point of time पे it's never about the inexperience. It's never about how many years the guy has managed or does he know about the league or not. I think we need to steer a little bit एक थोड़ा सा एक हल्के से different direction में. It's not for getting the titles or it's not for victories, Champions League, whatever. I don't see if Flick आते हैं या De Zerbi आते हैं, Barca Champions League जीत के अपने आप को वापस से एक foothold बना लेगी world of football में. I think इस point of time पे the fans, the club needs a breather. They need something a little bit different to what their identity is, and that's why I'm just kind of इस point of time पे मैं mind में हूँ अपने कि भाई कौन हो सकता है वो बंदा. And I would be backing any manager that comes in, well, obviously because we are fan of Barcelona. And yeah, so tactically astute बहुत important है, given the resources, given the teams जिनको हम face करते हैं, multiple strategies अपनानी होती है हमें. So somebody who is capable to handle that dressing room, somebody who is capable to handle those big names and those young small players जिनको वो develop कर पाए. That's only my point यहाँ पे. And let's see कि Laporta क्या decision बनाता है.
Yep, I think it's a big summer coming up again, Aditya. All the supercharger, thanks for that. लेकिन यार, guys, again, I'm highlighting as many comments as possible जो humanly है. मतलब I know बहुत interesting discussion चल रहा है, but I know at the same time panel also भाई we have to respect their time as well. I know फतेह भाई को actually थोड़ा सा late हो रहा है, लेकिन फतेह is here obviously Inter versus Atletico के लिए तो भाई we'll move on quickly. I'm assuming everyone is going for a Barca victory tomorrow against Napoli. I think it'll be a huge surprise if Napoli pull it off. सब लोग स्कोर प्रेडिक्शन दीजिए. लेकिन फतेह, कमिंग टू इंटर मिलान भाई, मतलब अगेन हम हंसी मजाक में तो कर ही रहते हैं, हम ट्रांसफर न्यूज में हम बात कर रहे थे अबाउट बार्सिलोना. इंटर मिलान आर ऑलरेडी काइंड ऑफ बिल्डिंग एवरी समर, बिफोर द समर, प्री कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एंड एवरीथिंग. बट द फुटबॉल यार बोलना पड़ेगा, एंड दिस मैच इज स्पेशल. ऑफ कोर्स ओजीज वुड नो दैट. Both the Simeones, they were teammates at Lazio. But you remember 2000 में, if I'm not wrong, they did win a couple of trophies together as well back in the day. But how do you see Atletico kind of being dealt with, considering that मतलब they are like for like almost, not मतलब 3-5-2 ही खेलते हैं दोनों, मतलब if I'm not wrong पता है. So how are you expecting मतलब Simone Inzaghi will he change something, considering क्योंकि Atletico are also playing similar manner in terms of the structure?
No, I don't think Simone Inzaghi's ever changed from his formation, either at Lazio or at Inter. I think maximum he goes is 3-6-1. And I honestly think that Atletico have a better chance to progress than Inter. I think we've got a good first 11, and from there onwards, on the bench, we don't have enough in attack. I think Arnautovic and Alexis have both been they've been horrible at times. Like it's hard to watch Alexis at times because our panelists know. I mean, he was very good at Barcelona. He was very good at Arsenal. I think the legs have gone, so we don't really have much going for us on the bench. And I think we've basically got a decent starting 11, and after that we've got nothing. So. And I don't think that we can, manage Serie A and the Champions League. Like that's a lot of fans are talking about how good Inter is this year. Yes, we've been good, but also, if you remember the games against Real Sociedad, at times we were very lucky. And Real Sociedad's a good team, but they lost to PSG, as we know. So so I think we've got chinks in our armor. Yes, we just want to win the league. I don't think we'll be able to beat Atletico because they'll be defensive. They'll try and get us on the counter attack, and that's what we've been doing. I think since last season's Champions League. Once the round of 16 kicked off last year, we've been the team that wants to play on the counter. So I don't think Atletico are going to allow us that, and I think that's going to be our Achilles heel. So it's as an Inter fan, obviously I want to see us win, but I think tonight it's going to be a 1-0 win for Atletico, Griezmann or somebody, and I think honestly that's going to be okay because if we can win the 20th Scudetto, get the second star before your AC Milan, Ankit, then we got all the bragging rights in our city, and that's what we as Inter fans, that's what we
भाई
want.
इंटर एसी वाला तो भाई भूल ही जाओ क्योंकि वी ऑल नो व्हाट हैज हैपेंड इन द डार्बी इन द लास्ट फ्यू टाइम्स बट विल कम बैक भाई अपना टाइम आएगा मैं जो हमेशा बोलता हूँ दैट विल कम फॉर श्योर लेकिन दैट्स वेल पुट बाय फतेह एब्सोल्युटली वेल पुट लेकिन आई डोंट नो जी भाई व्हाट डू यू थिंक एटलेटिको द स्पेनिश लीग में भाई बहुत अप एंड डाउन काइंड ऑफ रहा है ला लीगा में उनका परफॉर्मेंसेस हाउ डू यू सी द अप्रोच बीइंग बिकॉज़ फॉर मी दिस इज अ गेम जहां पर आप जानते हो एटलेटिको एट होम नेक्स्ट लेवल इन टर्म्स ऑफ देयर फॉर्म ठीक है एट होम देयर इज अ डिफरेंट केटल ऑफ फिश if by chance Atletico are able to surprise Inter in the first leg that is the only chance right तो मतलब will they play a waiting game जैसे आपने बोला था कल
Well, Ankit bhai, it would be complicated. It's not going to be straightforward. Atletico Madrid is it's kind of a weird team. Malab, you cannot know what Cholo is preparing. League mein they are a different side, and we have seen them play expansive football. We have seen them play more on the ball. We have seen them create great quality chances, score more than one goal in so many matches. Wow. So that is something weird. Iske alawa, in the cup games in Champions League, you might see a different version of Atletico Madrid. You could see them sitting back. You can see them trying to stall Inter because Inter, I think they're gonna come with all guns blazing. They want to have the home advantage. Unko Atletico Madrid ko home pe harane ka bhai puri koshish karni hai. They want to get a good win over here because we don't know Metropolitano pe kya hone wala hai. And knowing Cholo Simeone, जो फ्रीडम दे रखा है प्लेयर्स को अपने इस साल प्लेयर्स हैव एंजॉयड playing under him. Griezmann is one of the best players in world football. You can see De Paul का season अच्छा जा रहा है. Molina has been having great times. Defensively they are very stable. Up left पे Samuel Lino को देख सकते हो, he's doing great job. But Inter on the other hand, as I've talked in my today's video as well, like they're not an easy team to beat. They have all the answers defensively as well, attacking wise as well. There are games जहाँ पे उनको complications हुए थे. And this is as I said yesterday as well, Ankit bhai, ki best fixture for this round of 16 tie, and I do not know kaun sa team jeetegi, but the only thing being ki Atletico Madrid, they are playing that good football. They're still third fourth aise rahe hain La Liga mein. Inter jo bhi hai, the way they are pushing, and Inzaghi ko, as much as I know him, he's a top quality cup manager, and last year bhi humne dekh liya tha, and now with an improved team with players who are in great form scoring. आप मिडफील्ड में ही देख लो. आई टॉक्ड अबाउट दिस इन माय वीडियो. इनकी जो ये तीन मिडफील्ड है, चालानोग्लू, मिखितारियन, बरेला, दे हैव कंट्रीब्यूटेड 29
और अभी तो बैकअप्स भी है जी भाई. दैट्स द बेस्ट पार्ट. मतलब
कार्लोस
what Inter
अगुस्तो,
did not have.
आप देखो, he has played more than DeMarco on the left side. And
Augustus
अब
played.
Darmian, adaptability
Darmian
देखो
slash
आप
Dumfries बोल दो.
Exactly. Darmian has played up देखो कि Dumfries was in and out of this season because of injuries and stuff. Darmian पिछले साल तक he was playing the right sided centre back. Now he's suddenly playing the right wing back role, and he's 34 years of age, and he goes up and down. बंदा पूरे time match में he does that. Right back, जो राइट साइड सेंटर बैक पवार्ड बास्टोनी दे गेट फ्री जब मिडफील्ड कॉम्पैक्ट होती है दे कैन गो फर्दर फॉरवर्ड वो मिड्स वो अर्ली क्रॉसेस डालते हैं जहाँ पे दारमियान हो या फिर दिमार्को हो वो हाफ स्पेसेस में अराइव करते हैं फेनोमिनल प्ले है यहाँ पे इंटर का एटलेटिको मैड्रिड को भी कम नहीं समझना चाहिए बिकॉज ग्रीजमान इज ऑन अ सॉन्ग सो दिस गेम वुड बी वेरी क्लोज प्रोबेबली 1-0 टू आइदर साइड हो सकता है बट आई वुड थोड़ा सा बैंक करूंगा मैं इंटर मिलान पे यहाँ पे
Fair. Daksh, matlab quickly, what you think is like because of the fact that Atletico are second at home, matlab Inter will regret. कहीं ना कहीं matlab this has some surprise written over it. Matlab what is your gut feel?
इन मेरा तो पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू ये है दैट बीइंग होम सेकंड यार मेरे हिसाब से डिएगो Simeone goes a little pragmatic in this one. He just has to make sure he doesn't lose and doesn't lose big, which it is in his locker, right? He can play super compact football, difficult to break down and everything, and पूरा वो दे देंगे initiative इंटर पे कि आओ try to break us down. Let's see what you can do. Marcus Thuram, Çalhanoğlu, बस्तोनी ये सब लोग पे बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट जाने वाले डिफेंसिवली यार I'll just say this, इंटर की समर रिक्रूटमेंट से ही मुझे लग गया था कि दिस टीम इज गोइंग टू हैव अ वेरी सीरियस सीजन यार. They got Jan Sommer, they got Pavard, I think it was an amazing pickup by the way. Pavard was an amazing pickup and उसके बाद
Even
से भी
for that matter Cuadrado I know injured है लेकिन
I
that
know, yeah.
selection was good यार मतलब in my opinion.
And I think Marcus Thuram also यार Marcus Thuram भी बहुत अच्छा
fantastic
pickup है. Like very well complimenting. मैं सोच रहा था कि Lukaku was doing at Inter, it's doing fairly well, etc. तो कैसे करोगे? And then Marcus Thuram, and now they're already finalizing plans, Zelinski's and Taremi and everyone. तो यार मतलब Inter have a game plan to go forward, and it's going to be a continuous process where they keep on improving. So coming back to the tie though, I will say initiative सारा इंटर पे होगा to break down Atletico. Simeone just has to make sure they don't lose because I think he'll fancy his chances back home in Spain कि हम वहाँ पे इंटर को कुछ कर सकते हैं. जैसे ही फतेह भाई ने भी बोला था, the bench factor could be an issue if Inter do not have the adequate players to change the game plan, और अगर if they are putting Atletico under the conch but Atletico फिर भी hold firm कर रहे हैं, switch the game plan a bit, maybe get on a few reinforcements, तो वहाँ पे हो सकता है थोड़ा सा issue हो. But first leg pe I will give Inter a slight edge. I will say Inter will probably win.
Yeah, they are favorites. Let's be real. They are favorites.
Ankit, you're a Dutch fan, and I don't know whether you've been following De Vrij, but he at times seems beyond finished, and he's starting.
Absolutely, मैं वही उस पर ही आने वाला था फतेह. That was my question to you.
That's the big problem
Zerbi is
for
just
us.
back. Correct me if I'm wrong. Zerbi is just back from injury. यहाँ पर
Just back,
news आ रही.
he's not going to be playing, and I think
Yeah, he's not starting. That's for sure,
They
right?
are going to get into De Vrij's head, and I don't. I mean, it could be a bloodbath for him. He's been that bad in certain games. He started the season well enough. It seemed like he's back, but there's something mentally about him that at times he just it becomes in these big games that De Vrij just can't handle the pressure. And I think that's what's going to happen. And what better coach to rile him up than and Diego Simeone? I mean, he's got that grinta in him, that dog in him. So that's what I, as a Inter fan, I feel like he's got. I mean, a lot of people sort of write Atletico off simply because they finish in the top four, but and they're like like nobody's talking about them. Everybody's talking about how good Inter has been, this that, but also because I think Inter have managed to get the first goal in most of our games. But once you come up against a team that manages to take you to the 68th minute at 0-0, and then you concede a goal, has Inter seen that sort of adversity this season?
Like I know you're being very modest in terms of consistency.
That's what I feel. Like even last season, I don't think I've ever been like like Inter will do this that. I mean, I know the weaknesses of the team, and
but the confidence level of the players, beat, they exactly know what is coming next. That is very clear. वो Limone ball जो है that is actually being
and the other factor is De Paul, because De Paul was somebody that Inter wanted from Udinese, and he went to Atletico, and he's also somebody who can really get into a Barella's head or something like
that. Argentine connection हमेशा रहता है Inter के साथ.
Exactly, and we want him, but I don't know when he's a free agent.
अच्छा, अरे भाई Diego Simeone Inter के लिए खेला भाई है भाई, दो साल जीता हुआ है भाई UEFA Cup. मैं कैसे भूल गया भाई. Absolutely, that is or in fact he's played in Italy a lot. In fact he's played in Italy most तो that might be a factor for all we know. But there's a lot of know-how और बहुत सारे small battles होने वाले इसमें. Absolutely. Why enter in Lukaku? He used to do that late winner equalizer put in. If you know. Absolutely. लेकिन यहाँ पर मैं एक चीज में मतलब आई डोंट नो मतलब एज समवन हु यू नो वांट टू वॉच सीरी ऑल द टाइम इस बार थोड़ा सा इतना क्लोज नहीं रहा है मतलब in terms of just the tactics जी भाई मतलब what are you seeing the way that Simeone Inzaghi has done this time I know एक जो दक्ष ने बोला about recruitment एक चीज होती है और एक continuity एक चीज होती है but I'm pretty sure the way that Lautaro 20 goal for 3 consecutive seasons and that's like next level tactically there's something that he's made. There's a chat board with Çalhanoğlu. Usage of Çalhanoğlu was like a pleasant surprise for Inter fans. What do you think is the main factor जिसके कारण वो click हो रहे इतना?
I think there's a big difference to how they used to play with Brozovic in the team and with Çalhanoğlu in deep areas. With Brozovic, they had more control, they had shorter combination, and then they used to go on the flanks. We used to see a lot of goals being scored through the flanks. DeMarco के side से left पे and Dumfries के side से. अभी इस point of time पे they have got two strikers who are world class. एक बंदा who is excellent in off the ball runs and एक बंदा who is excellent in the link up plays. But I think the most important strength, the biggest strength of Inter is their midfield. Their hard working, robust midfield जो है उनकी, the way they say stay compact. जब वो रेस्ट डिफेंस पे होते हैं दे चैनल वो अपने चैनल को सेंट्रल चैनल को काफी नैरो कॉम्पैक्ट करते हैं दे पुश दी ऑपोजिशन टीम्स टू द वाइड एरियाज जहां पे दे प्रेस एग्रेसिवली तो दारमियान होंगे या फिर आपके पास अगुस्तो खेल रहे होंगे लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पे एंड दे हैव अ गुड प्रेसिंग स्कीम आउट व्हेन दे आर डिफेंडिंग ऑन द बॉल because Çalhanoğlu is very well adept to turn on in that half turns पे बहुत अच्छा है वो 1v1s पे अपने players को beat करने में बहुत अच्छा है and the best thing about Çalhanoğlu and this is how he differs from Brozovic is his distribution so often आप देखोगे कि when they build delivery push करेंगे midfield में Bastoni and Pavard जो दो center backs हैं वो थोड़ा सा wide हो जाएंगे and what will happen is कि delivery steps in the mid so what they do then is कि Çalhanoğlu and delivery probably एक angled एक हल्का सा angular double pivot बनाते हैं and then the keeper would want to find
So ground coverage भी हो गया plus I think he takes less
Yes.
touches than Brozovic that's one more thing
Absolutely, he takes less touches and next thing you know because the two because there are now two midfielders in that pocket the opposition need to send one extra guy because तीन center backs को mark up usually with front two करते हो but now one of the center back is pushed in the midfield they often have another guy coming in the mid areas जो आपके दो number 8s हैं वो spread करते हैं wide there is a central chance space open up and यहाँ से what the keeper does Sommer excellent passing range right side से Pavard great in passing so they have got Thuram dropping in and then वहाँ पे वो quick combination करते हैं the directness and the speed of players of this team is second to none the only big difference from what they used to play with Brozovic and now with Çalhanoğlu and Lautaro and Thuram is the speed of play and they are excellent in transition so I think that's a differential factor. I don't know Atletico Madrid against how they're gonna do it, but general gameplay, this is what I understand of Inter Milan, and then wide areas obviously we know how the process.
Great, well explained, absolutely जी भाई for sure. लेकिन I know यहाँ पर फतेह को लेट हो रहा है तो फतेह I'll let you have the predictions bro for this big one of course. By the way, if I'm not wrong, Spanish league में Atletico का थोड़ा soft corner है. You told me once if I remember right. I don't know. Is it the Argentine connection because of which you had that?
No,
I remember we had a
liked,
conversation once.
no. I liked Valencia. I was
Okay,
Pablo
okay.
Aimar and that team. So, but yeah, I have no problems with Atletico because of Diego Simeone, and I think they're a very physical team. They are very good defensively, so I like them. I honestly think that they'll surprise Inter. And you showed us the coefficients before I go. I think that all three Italian teams could be out in the Champions League. Because I don't think Lazio is still going to go to Munich and win.
Yeah,
I mean, irrespective of who the
realistically,
coach
fair
is,
enough.
they've been very up and down, very inconsistent. Napoli, we know, and so the only hope was Inter. But I think if there's one team that Inter have to be afraid of, it's Atletico because they're just going to defend, and they can get us on the counter. De Vrij doesn't have the speed. Bastoni has been making errors here and there. Yes, he's good going forward, but defensively this season he's not been as solid. So we've got problems, and I think Atletico are just the team that will hurt us. So I think Atletico will win 1-0 tonight. Maybe the second half.
That is huge. For going back to Atletico, that will be a huge result. That's a huge upset.
Don't worry, Fateh bhai, Alexis Sanchez will get you the win. Don't worry today.
Let's hope so.
Arsenal legend Alexis Sanchez.
Yeah, and he was good for us last time, but I think now with age catching up. But again, a player very underrated, and you guys are Arsenal and Barca fans. I mean, he's somebody that you guys definitely should, like talk about and make a
Yeah.
episode or something, because nobody talks about him, but fantastic player.
He's a
Yeah.
very good. Yeah.
Alexis Sanchez had one terrific year at Barca before he moved to Arsenal, and
Yeah,
then those couple of years in Arsenal, I remember. Of course, वो हैंडबॉल दक्ष से बात करेंगे जो हुआ था, मतलब if you know, वो एक चीज बाकी है पेंडिंग, एक्चुअली कर लेते हैं भाई, we'll plan one thing for sure, and we'll get of course, yeah, Alexis Sanchez even Barca के साथ getting John Terry the red card, bro. One cannot forget that. और वो fair था,
Ankit
John Terry
bhai really loves Alexis Sanchez. In short.
गुड वन लेकिन बिग अप तो फतेह, हम लोग एंड ही करने वाले स्ट्रीम 5 minutes. I don't know Fateh if you want to stick around for 5 more minutes and we just
No,
or you want to
I
go.
think, yeah, I must go because I must eat my
No
food,
problem,
man.
bhai, you told me, no problem. Big up to
Bye,
Fateh,
guys.
Fateh OP हो
Honor,
जाए.
honor,
All the
Vinny,
best.
bye.
great chat.
बस
Well
AC
done,
मिलान से
guys.
नहीं जीतना, लेकिन इंटर मिलान आज जीत जाए. Technically that's what I want. Just for
Alright.
failure, nothing else. लेकिन यहाँ पर क्विकली एक और प्रिडिक्शन बाकी भाई. आई नो पीएसवी डॉर्टमंड का हमें टाइम नहीं मिला करने का, ज़ीबा एंड दक्ष, लेकिन एनी मेजर टॉकिंग पॉइंट वहां पर अबाउट पीएसवी वर्सेस डॉर्टमंड? यू थिंक दैट पीएसवी आर डेफिनेट फेवरेट? जी भाई पहले दक्ष से पूछते. दक्ष, व्हाट डू यू थिंक? डॉर्टमंड का वी हैव सीन एज चेल्सी फैंस लास्ट सीजन, लेकिन Bundesliga में can we judge, क्योंकि Leverkusen are doing so good that it's difficult to judge in Bundesliga how the other teams are doing really. लेकिन PSV are doing great in Eredivisie. तो मतलब what's your take there?
They're still unbeaten in the Eredivisie. I think the game they've lost this season was, I think, जो Arsenal के against हारे थे group stages में. But they're a great team यार. And their manager, in fact, also, I think Peter Bosz है उनका manager.
Yeah, Peter Bosz, exactly.
Yeah, right. And I think was he ex Dortmund as well?
Yep.
Am I mistaken?
Yeah, I remember. I think so.
So yeah, matlab it's very well set up here, and my weight will be fully behind PSV because I think they're a great team. They play exciting football. One of my favorite players plays there, Johan Bakayoko. I think right wing पे बहुत अच्छा player है. Of course, Luke the Goat is also here. So Z Bhai also has a personal connection to that team in a way. But no, I honestly haven't watched too much of Dortmund, but जितना मैंने उनको Champions League में देखा hasn't been too impressive. Sometimes they'll win the games they should be losing, and they'll lose the game they should be
Too
winning.
unpredictable है, मतलब
Very
Dortmund are
unpredictable.
Dortmund are always that team ना, मतलब इसलिए तो हम
Yeah.
last season बोल रहे थे bottling etc. because you all expected something और totally उल्टा हो गया. That's true.
Yeah, but how were they able to top the group of death, man? That is something.
वही
it tells a
nobody
lot about
expected,
them, man.
right? Nobody
Yeah.
expected. People would have put them at second,
भाई
maybe
उसके लिए
third.
उस पर ही डॉक्यूमेंट्री बनानी पड़ेगी है, तो that's true
See.
actually. मतलब how did they do that? मतलब we don't realize that they did that, so we cannot take them lightly. Zebhai, what are you saying?
Well, definitely PSV exciting team hai. Ricardo Pepe currently he came in मतलब पिछले summer में, and I think scored over 5-6 goals. De Jong, obviously सबको पता है भाई, Luke the Goat है यार अपने. I think exciting team, quick football, अच्छा transition play. दोनों ही टीम ओपन होती हैं, दोनों ही टीम काफी गोल्स मारने के लिए जानी चाहती हैं. I think मेरे लिए it's gonna be a great watch. That I can say, मतलब एक अच्छा competitive football होगा, fun game होगा,
देखने को मिलेगा इस मैच में, right?
neutrals love करेंगे, and exactly Inter Atletico में guys, make sure it could easily go down to be a very boring 0-0 match as well, yeah, so don't be surprised. And I think ये वाला game होगा थोड़ा interesting हो सकता है. We all could be wrong, but man, that's the fun of it, right? So I think low-key, given the experience of Dortmund, थोड़ा सा मतलब हाँ, PSV के home पे it would be complicated because we've seen how well they are. So maybe यहाँ पे I could go for a 1-1 draw. Ultimately मुझे ऐसा feel हो रहा है कि Dortmund निकाल लेगी इस round को, but I won't be shocked if PSG surprise. Actually, low-key, I want to see PSG surprise Dortmund, you know.
Same.
And low-key, I want to see them go to the next round. But थोड़ा सा neutral perspective अगर रखो तो यहाँ पे it feels like कि Dortmund over 2 legs would win. But ये पहला leg होगा, ये थोड़ा सा complicated होगा. Still, I'm gonna give the edge to PSV over here. Maybe let's see a 1-0 win, yeah, probably 2-1. But I think realistically could be even a draw 1-1.
Yes, we chat. आप बोलिए Daksh, what is your prediction score?
Same. I think 2-1 towards PSV in this one. I think निकाल लेगी. Who ultimately progresses from this tie? It's too early to say. I want to see this game today. Most likely मैं दो screen पे देखूंगा दोनों games, but I want PSV to go through. यार, I'll say 2-1 PSV.
चलो अगेन मतलब फॉर दैट गेम तो मैं डायरेक्टली बोलता हूँ, लॉट ऑफ पीपल आस्किंग भाई आप चैंपियंस लीग में कौन सा टीम को सपोर्ट कर रहे हो भाई, लेते हुए मेरी बुरी तरह एसी मिलान को कर रहा था ऑब्वियसली बिकॉज़ दैट्स माय फेवरेट टीम, वो भी निकल गई,
हक
अब तो
दिया।
भाई कोई बचा नहीं, भाई एज अ फुटबॉल फैन देखेंगे, लेकिन यार यमराज आप लड़ाई करवाओगे भाई पैनल के बीच में आर्टेटा टू बारसा बोलकर, मैं
I
यहाँ
think it
पर
will happen actually, but not now. It's going to take a few years. I think it'll
yeah,
actually
it'll
happen.
take मतलब maybe in the future वाला चीज, लेकिन हाँ lot of people are saying D-Goat winner coming in, लेकिन some great conversations guys, again हम we can go on and on about transfer news and what not, लेकिन at the end of the day भाई I think lineup भी 10 मिनट में बाहर आने वाली है, तो don't miss that match. I'm pretty sure यहाँ पर जी भाई you're doing a watch along, right?
Yeah, absolutely यार Ankit भाई, can't wait.
Daksh, tomorrow for sure, right? You
Tomorrow तो
both of
for
you are
sure
doing
भाई,
game.
it's our round of
Yeah.
16 देखना पड़ेगा यार.
चलो
Of
भाई
course.
सब लोग guys, whoever is here, first of all do not forget to hit that like button and again subscribe करिए, हम भी we try and do content as much as possible. It's a fan channel for all to see for everyone, so do check out both our channels, but more importantly check out the panels channels यार. Again आप देख सकते हो talk ball HD, talk ball ET as well as A for Arsenal. Again जो भी लोग यहाँ पर members बने हैं, big up to them. मैंने मैसेज किया था, साथ साथ में कोई conversation चल रहा था, I couldn't say, please DM करिए हमें. We kind of have some activities going for members, so hopefully you'll kind of join, and lots of planned. There are some competitions going on, and plus there's an offer. मैं पूरा मतलब इतने अच्छे conversation में भूल ही गया. Check out the description link because that will possibly lead you to some kind of a price, special price. So check out those for sure when you have the time, abhi before kickoff. At the same time, super chats के लिए thank you guys. Again, try and highlight as much possible. लेकिन एम्बापे तो मैड्रिड के साथ में एंड करना तो बनता है स्ट्रीम, एब्सोल्युटली. मतलब should we, मतलब मैं जो मैन सिटी का बोल रहा ना जी भाई इन द प्रीमियर लीग, रियल मैड्रिड डूइंग दैट एज वेल, कुछ should we get some rule how to stop that juggernaut of Real Madrid and Man City generally in football? ये
नहीं कर
बनती है
सकते.
class.
They are very well run. They are very well run, and they have got only themselves to thank. And यहाँ पे बारसा fans कितना भी खुन्नस खा ले, they have to accept the fact that Madrid is long gone, soaring high amongst the clouds. And I think that उनका wage structure, उनका जो expenditure है, the way they have won the Champions League, the La Ligas, I think they're clear favorites this time as well. And with Kylian Mbappe, they would be out of our reach. But then again, we are Barcelona. We'll never give up, and we'll find ways जिससे कि हम उनको stop कर पाएं. And we're not gonna look at who they're gonna sign. I'm gonna bank on the mentality of an 18-year-old kid in my team, Gavi, what he said. I don't care who they sign. We are Barca, and we would always be there. So हम रहेंगे यहाँ पे हमेशा से उनके लिए trouble create करने के लिए. But all due respect to Real Madrid, good luck for the season, and let's see कि क्या होता है end में.
Yep, we are there no matter what, and definitely good luck to Arsenal as well यार. Daksh knows I don't mean it, लेकिन क्या teasing है, चलो ले लो.
It's okay.
I mean it, Daksh bhai. Good luck to Arsenal.
नहीं, no,
लेकिन
Ankit
कोई
also
नहीं,
wants us
होंगे.
to win
So,
and progress through and get those 5th UCL spots for the Premier League as well, भाई.
put it that way. चलो let's work with the team वहाँ पर for sure. लेकिन big up to the chat, big up to the panel. सब लोग ready हो जाइए 10 मिनट में. Let's freshen up and then let's see what are the lineups, and we'll watch it and we'll cover it on our respective channels कल. तो आप check करना, और watch along आज रात हो रहा है Talk Full HD और A for Arsenal as well as Talk Full HD कल. हम लोग watch along कल शायद कर लेंगे, आज हिम्मत नहीं है भाई, to be very honest. आज आराम से as a fan देखूंगा मैच, लेकिन we'll be back on the channel, on both the channels with videos. ठीक है? See you. Any last words जी भाई?
Bye-bye.
कुछ?
नहीं बस
नहीं भाई,
शुक्रिया
आर्सेनल
अंकित भाई for
जीतने
having
वाली
me.
चैंपियंस लीग सब देखते रहना.
बढ़िया go for it Daksh bhai, no problem. मजा आएगा मुझे तो. Let's go.